Chapter 85. There were many large and small sects in Azure Sun County. A few decades ago, they formed an alliance and elected sect leader Qin Haoran of the 6th-rate Vaschi sect as the first alliance leader. Their aim was to develop harmoniously and advance hand in hand. Other than the high-ranked sects, most of the sects in Azure Sun County would choose to join and become a member of the alliance. If a sect did not join the 100-sect alliance, they would be despised by the other sections. When sect leader Wang established the Iron Bone sect, he treated everyone to a meal and gave them gifts in order to increase the sect's reputation. Unfortunately, his efforts had been wasted today. Because many sects in the alliance were unhappy with Jun Changxiao's actions of destroying the Spirit Spring sect and publicly condemned him. When alliance leader Qin found out, he was also furious. He personally went to Azure Sun City to find City Lord Xia and hoped that he would not interfere with the alliance's matters. He decided to punish Iron Bone severely. Although he was rejected, he would not give up. As the alliance leader, he decided to have a good talk with Iron Bone sect leader at the Star Moon Pavilion 3 days later. When the higher-ups of the various sects found out, they praised the alliance leader's wisdom and were willing to accompany him. They planned to use their saliva to drown that arrogant fellow. When force was not enough to solve the problem, words became even more important. The news of the 100-sect alliance leader meeting Iron Bone at the Star Moon Pavilion and the destruction of the Spirit Spring sect spread throughout Azure Sun County. Indeed, the 100-sect alliance was alerted. Jun Changxiao has caused a huge trouble this time, he has to give an explanation. In my opinion, alliance leader Qin is afraid of the Spirit Spring sect and can only punish Iron Bone. Many sect leaders have expressed that they want to attend the meeting. There will definitely be many sect leaders in Azure Sun City 3 days later. What meeting? It's obviously an interrogation of Iron Bone. Yes, it's an interrogation. All the cultivators in the various cities were discussing. Some of them were looking forward to how the 100-sect alliance would make things difficult for Jun Changxiao 3 days later. Iron Bone, Main Hall. After returning, Jun Changxiao leaned sideways and placed one leg on the chair. He supported his chin with one hand and said, "I'm afraid there will be a banquet 3 days later." Sect leader Li Qingyang asked weakly, "Did you really destroy the Spirit Spring sect?" "Okay," Jun Changxiao replied. Li Qingyang said solemnly, "The Spirit Spring sect is a member of the 100-sect alliance. The sect leader will definitely be held accountable for destroying it." Jun Changxiao walked down, patted his shoulder and said, "In the sect, you're the only one who's able to consider things. Your personality is relatively steady. I'm very gratified." Li Qingyang was startled, and an ominous feeling rose in his heart. As expected, Jun Changxiao said that Yi Xingchen is a little troublemaker. As the second disciple, you should discipline him more strictly. If he does anything out of line, there's only one word to describe it: torture. After that, he patted his shoulder and left in a carefree manner. Li Qingyang stood where he was and counted with his fingers. With a confused expression, he said, 2 words. Jun Changxiao returned to his residence in the inner courtyard. He sat down cross-legged and circulated the body metamorphosis scripture to absorb spiritual energy. Ho ho! The spiritual energy of heaven and earth was drawn in, slowly enveloping him, forming a faint mist. The spiritual energy entered his body through his pores, gathering in his meridians, then guided to his dantian and merged with it. On Starfall Continent, every realm will unlock a new ability. The ability of a martial disciple is to open up his dantian vortex. Don't underestimate this ability. The more energy and the purer it is, the stronger a martial disciple will be. After Jun Changxiao broke through, what he needs to do is to continuously strengthen his dantian vortex, breaking through his limit again and again to reach a higher realm. After cultivating for a while, he shook his head in dissatisfaction, saying, "Spirit roots are limited, relying on hard work is too slow." The system spoke, "The host can consider refreshing the store, maybe you can find a talent-altering liquid that can raise your dantian to a mid-grade spirit root." Jun Changxiao opened the store. Ding! Contribution, 140500. The 4 points less is because of the Spirit Energy formation and Sect Protection formation. New products appeared in the store. The first thing Jun Changshao saw was an item called Magically Altered Sound System. He was very sensitive to the word magically altered, so he clicked on the detailed introduction item, Magically Altered Sound System. Introduction, a musical instrument that can play songs. Effect, suitable for disciples' morning exercises. After turning on the sound system, divine music will play, and it can cultivate the mood. Special effect, the host's mind can lock onto targets within 100 meters. When they hear the divine music, they will be brainwashed and unconsciously dance to the beat. Effectiveness, once opened, use. Weakness, the interference of the divine music will only take effect once a month. Those with high cultivation may be immune to the brainwashing of the divine music. Price, 10 contribution points. Jun Changshao said, brainwashing of the divine music seems interesting. He retracted the detailed introduction and looked at the other items. Finding that they were useless, he decisively bought the magically altered sound system. After a series of notifications, Jun Changshao refreshed the store. This time, his luck was off the charts. There was a talent-altering liquid in the items. He clicked on it and found that it was suitable for mortal-grade spirit roots, but the price was still 50 contribution points. Buy. Ding. The host has spent 50 contribution points and obtained talent-altering liquid X1, ding. Sect contribution points, 80500. Jun Changshao took out the talent-altering liquid, opened the bottle and drank it without hesitation. It was still the same taste, a little mellow with malt. Ding! The host has used talent-altering liquid X1. Altering the spirit roots aptitude. Spirit roots aptitude alteration completed. The host has successfully broken through to 6th grade martial disciple. The change in his aptitude caused Jun Changshao's cultivation to increase, but it was only by 1 grade. After his spirit root was upgraded to middle grade, Sect leader Jun's compatibility with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had increased. After a night of cultivation, the results were obvious. Not bad, not bad. He walked out of the room, swinging his arms. The sky was just beginning to brighten, and everything was so fresh. Just as he went to the outer courtyard, he saw Xiao Ziji walking out of the training room, squatting on the stairs and panting tiredly. You've worked hard. Jun Changshao praised. The disciples got up one after another, washed up, and came to the training field for their routine cultivation. Hurry up. Li Qingyang also came, but Yi Xingchen followed behind him. This Night Emperor, Lord Yi Xingchen, had his head lowered, but his eyes were cold. What's going on? Jun Changshao asked. Li Qingyang said, Sect leader, junior martial brother Yi hasn't done any morning exercises since he joined the sect. This time, I pulled him over. Humph, Yi Xingchen said coldly, I am a dignified martial emperor. Why would I do morning exercises with you bunch of ordinary people? Jun Changshao said, Xingchen, I think you haven't adapted to the life of a sect yet. Pa, he snapped his fingers and said, in order to make you happy, I have to adjust the atmosphere of the sect. Atmosphere? Everyone was confused. Pa! Jun Changshao changed the sound system and placed it in front of the main hall. He said, from now on, you will have beautiful music to accompany you during morning exercises every day. Su Xiaoma came over and looked left and right. Sect leader, what is this? Jun Changshao didn't explain. When all the male and female disciples arrived, he gently pressed the button on the sound system. 2 subwoofers suddenly sounded move, 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 oh my god. Su Xiaoma, who had his ear pressed against the subwoofers, heard the sound and was so scared that he fell down the stairs. It was like a seaweed, seaweed, seaweed. Swaying with the waves. Seaweed, seaweed, seaweed. A very melodious divine tune sounded in the iron bone training field. Idiot! Yi Xingchen muttered. At this moment, Jun Changshao pointed in his direction and said, come, come, jump. Yi Xingqian's pupils shrank. He couldn't help but spread his legs and raise his hands. Then, he jumped to the rhythm of the divine tune. A dignified martial emperor stood on the training field and danced with joy. Occasionally, he would put one hand on the ground and lift his whole body. The disciples looked at him with strange expressions. Jun Changshao took off his long robe and put his fingers in his mouth. He whistled and shouted, "Babies, let's have fun." His will spread and enveloped all the disciples. Then nearly 100 disciples lined up neatly and jumped to the rhythm of the divine tune. Second senior brother, I can't control my body. I can't control myself either. Hee hee, it's so fun. Why isn't senior sister jumping with us? Chapter 86. After being brainwashed by the divine melody, the Iron Bone disciples felt refreshed. They did not feel tired even after a whole day of cultivation. This was the effect of the magically modified sound system. Not only could it liven up the atmosphere, but it also had a refreshing effect. However, after the morning exercise, Yi Xingqian squatted in a corner and held his head with both hands. He howled in his heart, "What did I do? What did I do? Where was his dignity? Where was his temper?" Especially when he thought about how he had been singing and dancing in public, his eyes turned red. He wished he could tear a hole in the ground with his hands and crawl into it. Ah! The more Yi Xingqian thought about it, the more pained he felt. He raised his head and roared. Whoosh! The ball of happiness shot toward him from a tricky angle. Swoosh! Yi Xingqian twisted his body and the ball swept past his face. He thought disdainfully, "I'm not who I was a few days ago." "Junior brother, watch your back," Su Xiaoma shouted. Yi Xingqian was stunned. He instinctively looked back and saw the ball that had hit the wall bounce back. Bang! Thump! Yi Xingqian lay on the ground with his arms and legs spread out. He was not who he was a few days ago, but he still had the ability to catch the ball with his face. He really wanted to die. He really wanted to be reborn again. "Li Fei, what kind of stupid footwork is that? You kicked junior brother in the face again." The next day, Iron Bone disciples were happily doing morning exercises to the tune of the divine melody. Yi Xingqian, who was supervised by Li Qingyang, could only do the exercises despite his resistance. However, he remained silent, as if he was an autistic patient. After the morning exercises, the disciples cultivated on their own. Jun Changshao walked over and sat on the stairs. He said, "How have you been these past few days?" Yi Xingqian, who was sitting next to him, was silent. Jun Changshao said, "Your eyes tell me that you're someone with a story." Yi Xingqian continued to be silent. If he had enough strength now, he would definitely press the sect leader to the ground and ruthlessly rub him against the ground. Jun Changshao reclined with his hands on the stairs and said, "Actually, I envy people like you who have stories. You're not like me, whose life is summed up by the word handsome." Yi Xingqian, Jun Changshao stood up and patted the dust off his butt. "Xingqian, if you hold a grudge against me for forcing you into the sect, you can leave now." "Really?" Yi Xingqian finally spoke. Jun Changshao threw the disciple admission form to him and pointed to the door. "You can leave now. No one will stop you." Shwa! Yi Xingqian got up and walked towards the door. Jun Changshao crossed his arms and said, "However, you have to consider this carefully. Leaving this place is equivalent to losing a lot of cultivation resources. If you have any grudges, it will be difficult for you to take revenge." Yi Xingqian stopped in his tracks and clenched his fists. He really wanted to leave immediately, but after going through the muscle-building training, his physical body had improved rapidly. He was a little reluctant to leave. Was he right? This guy had enemies. Jun Changshao said, "I don't know your story, and I don't want to hear it. But you just have to remember that cultivating in the Iron Bone School will only make you stronger." The disciples who were playing football on the training field stopped and looked at Yi Xingqian, who seemed to be about to leave. "Junior brother." Su Xiaoma picked up the ball and shouted, Although our sect is a little weak now, under the leadership of the sect leader, we will definitely become stronger. If you leave, you will regret it for the rest of your life. TSK, Yi Xingchen snorted coldly. Then, he stepped back and stood beside Jun Changshao. Can it help me break through to the Martial Emperor realm? He mentioned the Martial Emperor realm the moment he opened his mouth. This guy was definitely not simple. Jun Changshao touched his nose and said, Martial Emperor is just the beginning. If there are higher realms, I can easily take you there. Let's show off first and talk about it later. Knight Emperor threw the entry form over and said, I'm going to cultivate. He acknowledged me as his disciple. That was rare. Could it be that a Martial Emperor was fooled by Jun Changshao just like that? No, he was just obsessed with the muscle building room. Moreover, he needed a place to concentrate on cultivating. Although the Iron Bone school was weak, at least it was quiet. Jun Changshao forced him into the sect, and Su Xiaoma beat him up. All of this was nothing to Yi Xingchen because his only goal after being reborn was to drag the Empress down from her pedestal. Of course, he did not know that if he really took the entry form and walked out of the Iron Bone school, he would not only lose the muscle building room, but also all the memories related to the tendon-changing scripture. Jun Changshao said, follow me to Qingyang City tomorrow. I'll take you to see the world. The world? Yi Xingchen sneered in his heart. As one of the 10 martial emperors in his previous life, what world had he not seen? The next day, the disciple continued to cultivate as usual. Jun Changshao was ready to leave, bringing Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, Xiao Ziji, and Yi Xingchen to Qingyang City. Sect Master. On the way, Li Qingyang said, the 100th Sect Alliance leader invited you. It's a little inappropriate to bring us along. Jun Changshao said, there's nothing inappropriate about it. TSK. So he was going to attend a sect meeting in a small county. This was considered a world. Back then, this emperor discussed martial arts with the 9 great martial emperors on Crimson Cloud Mountain. Yi Xingchen thought to himself. This guy was still immersed in his past glory and did not know that he was just a useless person in this life. After a few days of cultivation, Yi Xingchen's body was obviously much stronger than before. If he did not have the muscle building room, he would not have grown so quickly. Unfortunately, he did not comprehend the body metamorphose scripture, nor did he comprehend the Taishen scripture. His cultivation was still stuck at the first level of channel opening. Or his spirit roots were too weak. Qingyang City. Jun Changshao rushed over again. Unlike before, when he brought his disciple into the city, the passers-by no longer looked at him with disdain and contempt. His disciple took the top 4 spots and destroyed the Spirit Springs sect. At this time, who would dare to think of Iron Bone as a mediocre sect? Sect Master Jun Li family head welcomed him with a smile on his face. Father. Li Qingyang called out. After joining the sect, this was the first time he returned to Qingyang City. Jun Changshao said considerately, go accompany your father and fulfill your filial piety. I'll bring your junior brothers to the appointment. This was the reason why he brought Li Qingyang to Qingyang City. Li Qingyang said seriously, Sect Master, after this matter is settled, disciple will talk to father about the old days. He was the son of Li family head, and also a disciple of Iron Bone. At this banquet, the alliance leader and the higher-ups of the various sects would definitely deliberately make things difficult for him. As the second disciple, how could he not accompany the sect master? All right. Jun Changshao cupped his hands and said, Li family head, I still have matters to attend to. After I'm done, I will visit your residence. Saying so, he brought his 4 disciples to the Star Moon Pavilion. Sigh. Watching his son leave, Li family head sighed. He knew that Jun Changshao was going to attend the meeting, and the Star Moon Pavilion was booked yesterday. Inside were all the sect masters of the various sections. Qingyang would be fine if he went, right? There are at least 30 sect masters in the Star Moon Pavilion. It's a big lineup. If I went in and met so many big shots, I would probably be scared to the ground. Sect Master June destroyed the Spirit Spring Sect. The Alliance is very angry. This time, he will definitely be targeted. The passers-by and martial artists discussed in low voices. Xie Guanquan stood in the study and heard from the guard that Jun Changshao had entered the city. He muttered, "Kid, this is an internal matter of your alliance. It's not convenient for me to participate. I hope you can handle it." Chapter 87. The extravagant alliance chief Qin booked the entire Star Moon Pavilion. There was not a single random person inside. There were 5 large round tables on the second floor. There was 1 in the center and 4 on both sides. Apart from the center where only 1 person sat, the other 4 had 8 people sitting at each table. Sitting alone at the big round table was Qin Haoran. He put his hands on the table and leaned against the back of the chair. He closed his eyes and rested his mind. His whole body emitted the aura of someone who had been in a high position for a long time. The 32 martial artists on both sides were the big shots of the various sections. Although they did not have the might of the Alliance Master, they still exuded an aura that made people revere them. Because of their presence, the entire second floor became especially solemn. At this time, if an ordinary person came in and saw such a scene, they would definitely be scared out of their wits. Alliance Head Qin. After a long time, the Long Blade Gates Patriarch couldn't help but ask, "It's almost noon, why isn't Iron Bone Gates Patriarch here yet? Will he stand us up?" The Tiger's Hull School Patriarch asked. "No," Alliance Master Qin said firmly. Xie Guanquan was the one who contacted Iron Bone. He didn't think that Iron Bone would dare to break their promise. "Humph," one of the elders said indifferently, "the Alliance Conference is such an important event and he actually came late. It seems like he doesn't care about the 100 Sect Alliance at all. When he comes, I must ask him if he is familiar with the rules of the 100 Sect Alliance." "Forget about it, Sect Headway. If Jun Changshao knew the rules of the Alliance, how could he do something as outrageous as exterminating the Spirit Spring Sect? Motherfucker, that guy destroyed the Spirit Spring Sect. If the Sacred Spring Sect comes after us, we'll definitely suffer." The sect leaders of the various sects discussed with righteous indignation. From the looks of it, if Jun Changshao were to come, he would definitely drown in his saliva. In fact, if it was any other sect that was destroyed, they wouldn't be so angry. However, the one that was destroyed was the Spirit Spring Sect that was related to the Sacred Spring Sect. The Sacred Spring Sect was a sect that was as different as heaven and earth compared to other sections. Not to mention the upper echelons, just a single disciple was enough to torture him to the point that he doubted his own life. Qin Haoran's expression also became solemn. This time, the Alliance meeting was held to represent the Alliance to stand up for the Spirit Spring Sect and give the Sacred Spring Sect an explanation. Thump, thump, thump. Suddenly, the sound of someone coming up the stairs was heard. Qin Haoran and the 32 sect leaders all looked at the staircase, their eyes flashing coldly. Jun Changshao's head was the first to appear at the top of the stairs. Seeing so many people, he said, "I'm sorry, my appearance is wrong. Please wait a moment." As he spoke, he retracted his hand. Why did he go down again? "Humph, I'm afraid he's so scared that he doesn't dare to meet City Lord Qin. Since you're afraid, you shouldn't have destroyed the Spirit Spring Sect." Didugu, 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 didugu. Suddenly, a slightly deafening low sound was heard, startling all the sect leaders and causing them to stand up and stare at the stairs. Under the background music of the God of Gamblers, Jun Changshao walked up in a mink coat with a cigar in his mouth. So flirtatious that it was unbearable. Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and Xiao Ziji followed. They stood in a line behind the sect leader, their hands crossed. If they wore a black suit and sunglasses, they would look like a dark evil force. Martial Emperor Yi Xingqian walked up with a crazy face, carrying a stereo. Fuck. So embarrassing, so shameful. Suddenly, the divine song suddenly changed, and he sang, "Don't look at me as just a sheep, the corner of Jun Changxiao's mouth twitched. Turn it off. Pa! The stereo was turned off. Silence. On the opposite side, Alliance leader Qin and the 32 sect leaders all stared with wide eyes, their eyes filled with the luster of "What the hell is this?" Jun Changxiao shrugged. Li Qingyang stepped forward, took the mink coat that he rented from the town, and then returned to his original position. Puff! Blowing out a smoke ring, Jun Changxiao said indifferently, Alliance leader Qin, such a big table, you didn't even prepare a chair, isn't it a bit against the rules of Jianghu? The leader of the Nine Streams Iron Fist gang said indifferently, do you think your iron bone deserves to sit on a chair? There was a ready-made chair next to him, originally reserved for Jun Changxiao, but it was deliberately taken back. This approach was supported by the sect leaders of the various sections. Not to mention the level of the sect, just the destruction of the Spirit Springs sect violated the rules of the alliance. What qualifications did the leader of the Iron Bone gang have to be on equal footing with him in the meeting? I've sinned. Jun Changxiao said, bring the chair over. Yes. Xiao Ziji walked over. The leader of the Iron Fist gang pressed one hand on the chair and said indifferently, if someone wants to take it, it should be the sect leader. What are you, a disciple? The elders of the various sects watched with interest. The Iron Fist gang was famous for their iron fists. With one hand on the chair, the Iron Bone disciples certainly couldn't move an inch. Please take your hand away, Xiao Ziji said indifferently. The leader of the Iron Fist gang changed his palm into a fist and said disdainfully, I said, let your sect leader, Shua. Xiao Ziji's right arm suddenly swung over, the power of his body exploding. Not only was the speed fast, it also carried a gust of wind. The leader of the Iron Fist gang's face changed greatly, subconsciously raising his arms to block. Pang! The heavy iron arm was like a sledgehammer, fiercely slamming into his arms. The power exploded, directly lifting him up, and then with a bang, he broke the window and flew out. Outside the Star Moon Pavilion, many martial artists gathered. They were either whispering or looking up at the second floor. Suddenly the window broke, and a person fell down from above, instantly giving them a big fright. Oh my god! The leader of the Iron Bone gang had just gone up, and the alliance had already acted. Exciting, exciting! Many martial artists looked over and were suddenly dumbstruck. Because the person who fell from the second floor was not a member of the Iron Bone gang, but the leader of the Iron Fist gang. It hurts. The Star Moon Pavilion was silent. The elders of the various sects were stunned as they watched Xiao Ziji pick up the chair, place it behind the leader of the Iron Bone gang, and then return it to its original position. His exposed right arm revealed beautiful muscle lines. At first glance, one could tell that it was very powerful. That guy is obviously a trash without spiritual power, but with only the strength of his body, he sent a martial disciple flying. It's unbelievable. Yi Xingchen was secretly shocked. Jun Changxiao sat down elegantly, one hand holding a cigar, one leg crossed, and said indifferently, everyone, I've come to keep the appointment. Bang! The leader of the Long Blade gang slammed the table and stood up, angrily saying, Jun Changxiao, this is the alliance meeting. Your disciple acted without permission, is there any law? The tone of the word law suddenly weakened. Because Jun Changxiao had already mounted the Desert Eagle and pointed down, saying, if you have something to say, sit down and talk. The faces of the leaders of the various sects changed. After the destruction of the Spirit Springs sect, they learned the truth from many sources and learned that Wei Inu was killed by this silver hidden weapon. A 12th level Meridian Opening Realm cultivator was shot to death in an instant. This was no ordinary hidden weapon. The leader of the Long Blade gang was angry, but he still sat down obediently. That's right. Jun Changxiao put away his spear, took a puff of his cigar, and said with a smile, since it's the alliance meeting, why do you have to stand and talk? Leader Qin went straight to the point, saying in a low voice, Leader Jun, did you destroy the Spirit Springs sect? That's right. Jun Changxiao didn't deny it. Leader Qin said with a cold face, according to the rules of the alliance, members can't destroy a sect without permission. As the leader, you should know, right? I know, Jun Changshao answered. Leader Qin's face became gloomier, saying, Leader Jun, why do you still do it when you know it's impossible? Jun Changshao bent down, put his elbow on his leg, and said with a smile, because, the motto of the Iron Bone sect is, if someone offends me, I will retaliate. Li Qingyang and the other disciples' mouths twitched. My sect leader, isn't the motto of our Iron Bone Jing sect changing every day? P.S. Vote. Chapter 88. The Iron Bone's motto was to be an unyielding person and do unyielding things. Then, it was to be indifferent to life and death. Now, there was one more, if someone offends me, I will offend that person. Although the motto changed frequently, the real emphasis was don't provoke me. The Spirit Spring sect was provoked, so it was destroyed. Humph, the Long Blade sect's patriarch coldly said, regardless of whether the Spirit Spring sect offended you or not, you can't just destroy their sect. Jun Changshao glanced at him and said indifferently, if your sect offends the Iron Bone, you will end up like the Spirit Spring sect. Very arrogant, very arrogant. The Long Blade sect's patriarch was furious. The Tiger's Howl sect's patriarch coldly said, Sect Master Jun, don't go too far. Don't tell me you don't understand this kind of Jianghu rule. Jun Changshao leaned back in his chair and crossed his legs, saying indifferently, those who provoke me will be directly destroyed. There will be no need to see them again. This guy. The other sect's patriarchs were furious. During the 100 Sect Alliances conference, Sect Master Wang kept a low profile and didn't say anything. Yet, this second-generation Sect Master was so arrogant and despotic. Another Sect Master righteously said, ignoring the Alliance's rules and destroying members of the Alliance is an unforgivable crime. Alliance Master Qin, please punish them severely as a warning to others. Each sect's patriarchs took turns to speak. They clearly wanted to use their strongest spit to drown the most arrogant Sect Master Jun. Unforgivable crime. Jun Changshao indifferently said, Sect Master Toad, I want to ask you, a sect that first communicated with bandits, then hired assassins, and played dirty tricks, what kind of crime is this in the Alliance? That Sect Master was speechless. Another Sect Master took over and said, Sect Master Jun, if this is true, then show us the evidence. The Alliance headquarters will uphold justice for you. If there is no evidence, then you are going against the heavens and betraying the Alliance. Uphold justice. Jun Changshao indifferently said, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but you don't have justice in your hearts. You are just pretending. You. The sect leader was furious. Jun Changshao said indifferently, the Spirit Spring sect colluded with the bandits and hired assassins. I had a good reason to destroy them. What crime was that? On the other hand, you ignorant men who fear the Sacred Spring sect. You talk about Jianghu's morality all day long, yet you don't send a punitive force to punish the thief. You only care about your food and clothing. What face do you have to banter with me here? You. The sect leader's voice trembled. Jun Changshao loudly rebuked, you, as the leader of a sect, have never done anything for the people. You only know how to wag your tongue. Now that I have annihilated the Spirit Spring sect that colluded with the bandits, you are quibbling for it. You are like a dog with a broken spine, barking madly here. I have never seen such a shameless person. Pooh! Hearing this, the sect leader was so angry that he vomited blood on the spot. Taking a puff of his cigarette, Jun Changshao inwardly commented, Zhuge Kongming's words are truly valiant. A war of words? Come on, let's hurt each other. If I don't beat you to a pulp, I'll write the word internet troll backwards. Cold sweat dripped down the foreheads of the various sect leaders. Luckily, the one he insulted was Situ Wang. If it was him, he would probably vomit 3 liters of blood in anger. Alliance Master Qin's face darkened. He obviously did not expect that a guy who was not even 20 years old would have such a high skill in insulting others. What should he do next? Jun Changshao said, "Everyone, speak freely." The corners of the sect leaders' mouths twitched. They wanted to speak freely, they wanted to say the lines that they had thought of before, but compared to Jun Changshao's insulting words just now, they suddenly felt weak. Second senior brother. Su Xiaoma stood at the back, whispering, "Sect leader made that old man vomit blood. This is simply too terrifying." Li Qingyang and Xiao Ziji expressed their agreement, and their admiration for the sect leader went up another level. Yi Xingchen, on the other hand, thought disdainfully, "In this world, only the weak will use their mouths to retort. The truly strong can only use their fists to settle everything." Ding! Congratulations, host, for completing the hidden mission, War of Words. You have received 50 contribution points. Ding! Contribution points, 127500. As expected, hidden missions were mostly related to the forward idiom. The Star Moon Pavilion was silent, and all the sect leaders were silent. At the start, they had prepared many lines to criticize Jun Changshao, but when they saw how ruthless he was, they did not dare to say anything. No one wants to speak. Jun Changshao stood up, walked to the big round table, and placed a piece of paper on the table, saying, "Then let me say it. From today onwards, Iron Bone Clan will leave the 100 Sect Alliance." On the paper, it was written that Iron Bone Clan would leave the 100 Sect Alliance, and it was even stamped with the sect leader's seal. Alliance leader Qin said angrily, "Jun Changshao, the alliance is not an inn. You can't stay and leave as you wish." Jun Changshao shrugged, saying, "Iron Bone does not want to be associated with an organization that is afraid of offending the Sacred Springs sect and colluding with other sects to target their own members." Paw! Alliance leader Qin slammed the table and stood up. Clang! Clang! Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and Xiao Ziji drew their swords and walked in front of the sect leader, forming a defensive stance. "What's wrong?" Jun Changshao grinned. "Does Alliance leader Qin want to make a move?" Qin Haoran naturally did not dare to make a move. After all, this was Green Sun City, Xiaguankuan's territory. He suppressed his anger and announced, "From today onwards, Iron Bone will be removed from the 100 Sect Alliance. If a member were to leave, it would be embarrassing." Thus, he took the initiative to remove his name from the alliance, at least he could save some face. Jun Changshao did not mind, saying indifferently, "As long as I have nothing to do with you bunch of idiots, it's up to alliance leader Qin to decide whether to leave or be removed from the alliance." With that, he turned and left. Iron Bone disciples sheathed their swords and followed the sect leader. Alliance leader Qin and the 30 over-sect elders could only watch as that guy walked down the stairs. Pa! The sound system turned on, and he sang, "Don't look at me as a sheep. The green grass has become more fragrant because of me, the sky has become more blue because of me." After Jun Changshao left, the Long Blade clan leader slammed the table and said angrily, "This guy is too arrogant. Iron Bone is the first sect that dares to leave the alliance since its establishment. It's good for them to leave. If the Sacred Springs sect comes to question us, they won't implicate us. Makes sense, makes sense." The sect leaders who were originally angry were calmed down by the sect leader's words. The Long Blade clan leader said, "Alliance leader Qin, since Iron Bone is not a member of the alliance, does that mean they won't have any privileges in the future?" Alliance leader Qin stood up and walked down the stairs, saying, "Those who are not members of the alliance have no privileges." The Long Blade Gate's patriarch understood. He quickly got up and walked towards the broken window, shouting at Jun Changshao, "Patriarch Jun, please wait." "What's the matter?" Jun Changshao stopped and asked. The Long Blade clan leader sneered, cupping his fists and said, "Your sect's disciples have taken the top 4 spots in the martial arts competition, which means sect leader Jun is extraordinary. Today, I would like to learn from you. Do you have time? You can't out-talk me, so you want to fight me?" Jun Changshao turned around and took a puff of his cigar. He smiled and said, "I'm free." Chapter 89. In front of the grievance stage, Jun Changshao and the sect leader of the Long Blade faction walked over. For a moment, the martial artists in Qingyang City poured in from the streets and whispered to each other. Sect leader Shen is a 9th-grade martial disciple. Can sect leader Jun beat him? When the 100 sects recruited disciples, sect leader Jun was only at the 4th or 5th stage of the meridian opening realm. Didn't he defeat Elder Wei, who was at the 12th stage? A 9th-grade martial disciple's strength is more than 10,000 pounds. A 12th stage meridian opening realm martial artist is no match for him. That makes sense. After a round of discussion, many martial artists were optimistic about the sect leader of the Long Blade faction. The leaders of the various sects also came to watch the battle. They supported sect leader Shen without hesitation and even hoped to beat the arrogant Jun Changshao on the grievance stage. Alliance leader Qin didn't leave. He stood far away from the grievance stage and watched. On the 4th floor, Xie Guanquan stood with his hands behind his back and said in confusion, "That guy is not stupid. Why did he accept Shentong's challenge?" From his tone and eyes, it was obvious that he didn't think Jun Changshao would win. It was normal. The Long Blade faction was an 8th-grade faction and its sect leader was a 9-star martial disciple. He was considered a good master in Qingyang County. What about Jun Changshao? Many people thought that even if he could kill Wei Yishi, he was only a 3rd-grade martial disciple. Sect leader Li Qingyang whispered, "It's a bit tricky." Jun Changshao put away the electronic cigar and said indifferently, "Remember Qingyang. In my eyes, there are no tricky opponents, only weak ones." With that, he stepped onto the grievance stage. Ding! Side quest triggered. Jun Changshao steadied himself and opened the system data panel. The side quest was defeat the sect leader of the Long Blade faction, Shentong 01, Elite Mission. Shentong, why wasn't he called Yuan Tong? Jun Changshao's eyes lit up with excitement when he saw that he had triggered a side quest, and an elite one at that. What did he lack the most? Contribution points. Sect leader Shen jumped onto the grievance stage and said indifferently, "Sect leader Jun, shall we compete with fists or weapons?" "Whatever," Jun Changshao said. Clan Master Shen said, "The Long Saber clan is famous for our sabers, but I won't take advantage of Clan Master Jun. Let's settle this with our fists." "Sure." Jun Changshao had no objections. He thought to himself, every time a martial disciple increases by 1 rank, the increase in strength is around 1,000-2,000 gene. Taking into account that he increases by 1,500 gene per rank, plus his meridian opening and 9th rank martial disciple cultivation, his strength should not exceed 15,000. The system replied, "This person's strength is around 14,000, Jun Changshao was stunned. "You can tell." "Yes." "Why didn't you say so earlier? You made me wait here." "You didn't ask." Jun Changshao was speechless for a while, but he also thought to himself, a rank 9 martial disciple only has this much strength. Taking him down won't be difficult at all. Thinking of this, he said indifferently, "You may begin." Shentong. Jun Changshao. After exchanging names, Shentong clenched his right hand and strode forward like a meteor. Immediately, visible energy ripples spread out under his feet. As expected of a rank 9 martial disciple, the spiritual energy he released alone could completely crush the participants of the sect competition. Li Qingyang's expression became serious. With the strength of the Long Saber clan's clan master, if it were him, he would definitely not be able to win. Su Xiaoma and Xiao Ziji also thought so. With their strength, they could be a rank 1 or rank 2 martial disciple, and they could also bully the clan masters of rank 9 sects. But against a martial disciple like Shentong, they could only be abused. Trash. Yi Xingqian said disdainfully. As a former peak martial emperor, he didn't put a rank 9 martial disciple in his eyes. If he still had his cultivation, he could kill him with a finger. "Brother, haven't you seen the reality? You are no longer a martial emperor who can summon wind and rain. You are just a little newbie now. Even if you have extraordinary experience, if your strength and body can't be improved, You will still be beaten black and blue. Bang! Suddenly, a loud explosion came from the grievance ring. Jun Changshao crossed his arms and blocked Shen Tong's heavy punch. His body was pushed back and barely stopped at the edge. He was one step away from leaving the ring. It hurts. He waved his arms and his face was slightly ferocious. Clan Master Shen didn't even use his full strength, and he couldn't hold it. He is really weak. A clan master said disdainfully. But he didn't know that he was only a rank 2 martial disciple. If he went up to fight with Shen Tong, he would be even weaker than Jun Changshao. He would be beaten down with one punch. Some people were like this. They never considered their own weakness and would always laugh at others as bystanders to increase their ridiculous sense of superiority. This guy is too weak. I have to suppress my cultivation. If he is beaten down, how can I abuse him? Shen Tong rushed over and poured spiritual energy into his fist, but only used half of his strength. His goal was not to win, but to beat Jun Changshao and make him pay for his arrogance in the Star Moon Pavilion. Whoosh! The fist was swung, and the wind from the fist whistled. Jun Changshao's slightly ugly face suddenly showed an evil smile. Shen Tong became vigilant. Shua! At this moment, Jun Changshao strode over. His right palm hit Shen Tong's fist and pressed his arm down. Then, he poured spiritual energy into his left fist and punched. One rush, one push, one attack. It was extremely fast. Even though Shen Tong realized that something was wrong, he could no longer avoid it and could not mobilize more spiritual energy. Boom! The fist, which carried the force of 10,000 kilograms, landed heavily on Shen Tong's abdomen. The strong impact disturbed Shen Tong's muscles and meridians, causing him to bend down and open his mouth. His eyes were wide open. It hurts. Shua! Jun Changshao raised his other hand and hit Shen Tong's back with his elbow. Shen Tong's eyeballs bulged again, and he fell to the ground with a loud bang. Hiss! The spectating martial artists gasped. Sect leader Jun's 2 attacks had spiritual energy fluctuations. At first glance, it was obvious that they were powerful. If they were hit, their meridians and internal organs would definitely be shattered. The various sect leaders, who thought that sect leader Shen Tong was going to win, were all dumbstruck. Suddenly, they understood that Shen Tong's punch that almost knocked him off the stage was an act. He was deliberately showing weakness. Xie Guangquan frowned. The 2 attacks just now were about 15,000 kilograms of strength. Could it be that he has entered the 9th grade martial disciple? Jun Changshao was only a 6th grade martial disciple. His explosive strength was so high because every grade increased by 2,000 kilograms. To be exact, every grade increased according to the upper limit. The reason why he was so strong was because of Yi Jingjing and the muscle building room. Yi Xingqian also noticed it. With a serious expression, he said, I didn't expect this guy to be so strong. I'm afraid it will take me some time to catch up. Wah! Shen Tong, who was lying on the ground, spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. When he was attacked, he only used 50% of his spiritual energy. After taking 2 violent blows from Jun Changshao, his meridians and internal organs must have been severely damaged. Jun Changshao squatted down and said apologetically, Sect leader Shen, I'm sorry. I was a little too harsh. You, Shua. As soon as he opened his mouth to speak, Jun Changshao grabbed him by the leg and dragged him to the edge of the stage. Then, with a whoosh, he was thrown out. Plop! Shen Tong fell to the ground with his limbs on the ground. He could not support himself and fainted on the spot. Ding! Defeat the sect leader of Longblade Sect 11, Elite Mission. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission. You have received 50 sect contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 177500. After completing a hidden mission and an elite mission, he easily earned 100 contribution points. Jun Changshao looked at the various sect leaders in a good mood and said in a provocative tone, "Who else wants to come up and spar? P.S. The strongest sect system has been updated. It is no longer separated to make it easier for readers to read." Chapter 90. Is there anyone else who wants to spar? When Jun Changshao said this, his eyes were filled with disdain and provocation. The various sect leaders below the stage were instantly enraged. They were all experienced sect leaders, who would be able to take it. But they had to remain calm and restrain themselves. Even the 9th grade martial disciple Shintong was beaten unconscious by him. If they went up, wouldn't they be looking for trouble? The various sect leaders looked at each other angrily, but no one dared to go up. Looking at the group of sect leaders who were furious yet helpless, Jun Changshao shrugged and said, "So this is the 100 Sect Alliance? It's only a so-so." From afar, Alliance leader Qin's eyes were cold as he walked over. He had the urge to spar with Su Mo, sect leader Jun. Suddenly, Xie Guanquan's voice came from behind. He walked over and smiled, "You defeated sect leader Shen in 2 moves. Your strength is extraordinary. You have opened my eyes." Jun Changshao cupped his hands and said, "Thank you, City Lord, for your praise." Xie Guanquan looked at Qin Haran and smiled, "Alliance leader Qin, are you planning to spar with a youngster like sect leader Jun?" If sect leader Jun was the only one who was fine, why did he have to add a youngster? This made Alliance leader Qin understand that Xie Guanquan was telling him not to bully a junior. "Xie Guanquan, you are so scheming." Alliance leader Qin said indifferently, "As a martial master, I will naturally not spar with a junior." City Lord Xia is thinking too much. Martial master? Jun Changshao thought to himself, this is a little tricky. City Lord Xia smiled, "Since all of you from the 100 Sect Alliance are here, the meeting must have ended. Let's go, I will be the host and treat all of you to a feast." Alliance leader Qin cupped his hands and said indifferently, "I still have matters to attend to, I will take my leave first." With that, he waved his sleeves and left. From his back view, he looked normal, but he was actually holding back his anger. "City Lord Xia, my sect still has matters to attend to, we will not trouble you. Goodbye, goodbye." The various sect leaders would not freeload at the City Lord's mansion, so they quickly found excuses to leave. When they came, they were all arrogant, but when they left, they were a little dejected. How could he not be dejected? Before the meeting started, he had wanted to drown Jun Changshao with his saliva. In the end, he was rendered speechless. A sect leader vomited blood, another sect leader was seriously injured, and the alliance leader and the other sect leaders left in a huff. This alliance meeting could be described as a complete failure. Jun Changshao jumped down from the grievance stage and cupped his hands. "Thank you, City Lord, for coming. Otherwise, Alliance Master Qin would have gone up the stage to spar with Jun." City Lord Xia shook his head and said, "Sect Leader Jun, you shouldn't be so competitive. Otherwise, you might run into a nail one day." Jun Changshao said, "Iron Bone's motto is to keep a low profile. As long as others don't provoke me, I won't provoke others." Li Qingyang and the others, who had already gotten used to the changes in their mission, did not show any changes in their expressions. City Lord Xia smiled and said, "This time, Alliance Master Qin left angrily. I'm afraid it will be very difficult for you, Iron Bone, to survive in the Alliance." Jun Changshao said, "My sect has already left the Alliance." City Lord Xia was stunned. He raised his thumb and said, "Since the establishment of the 100 Sect Alliance, all the sects have been fighting to get in. Sect Leader Jun, you've taken the initiative to leave. You're very courageous." Jun Changshao said indifferently, "They're just a bunch of mobs. My Iron Bone will only harm our sect's reputation if we join them." Hearing this, the cultivators in the distance only had one thought in their minds. Sect Leader Jun is really amazing. City Lord Xia originally wanted to invite Jun Changshao to the City Lord residence as a guest, but was rejected. He brought his disciples to the Li family so that Li Qingyang could catch up with his father. Seeing sect leader June defeat the Long-Blade sect leader, the Li family leader was both shocked and happy. He hurriedly prepared a banquet. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Jun Changshao left the Li family leader alone and went to the market to look for medicinal ingredients that could be used to concoct pills. There were 4 types of medicinal ingredients in the medicine refinery pavilion. Apart from the beginner healing pill that was easy to find, the rest were relatively rare. After visiting a few shops, he only managed to gather 2 sets of beginner body shaping pill. As for the Qi gathering pill and Qi revolving pill, he didn't even have one set. Sigh. Jun Changshao sighed. Although the medicine refinery pavilion can concoct pills quickly, without medicinal ingredients, it's like a housewife can't cook without rice. The system said, "Host, you can grow them yourself." Jun Changshao rolled his eyes and said, "Let's just talk about the 100-year-old ginseng used for the Qi condensation pill. Even if I could grow it, I wouldn't be able to complete the main quest by the time it matures." The system said, "There are items in the merchant shop that can speed up the growth of medicinal ingredients. It's up to host's luck to get them." Jun Changshao was speechless. "Can't you be more straightforward and just show them to me? Why do you have to show them to me?" The system said, "The merchant shop's refresh function is to prevent host from relying too much on the system. If you want to get the items you need, you have to earn contribution points to refresh them." Jun Changshao was speechless. "This is similar to a lottery. It's cheating me of my contribution points." The system said, "That's why host has to earn contribution points. Because if contribution points are used up, you won't even have the right to draw a lottery." Alright. Jun Changshao didn't argue with it and continued to search for medicinal ingredients in the medicine refinery pavilion. When he returned to the Li family, he obtained 4 sets of healing pills, 3 sets of body-shaping pills, 1 set of Qi gathering pills, and 0 Qi revolving pills. Whether or not a disciple could quickly become stronger depended on the pills of the medicine refinery pavilion. It wouldn't do if he didn't have the ingredients. "Sect Master Jun, is there something on your mind?" As soon as he returned to the Li family, Patriarch Li saw his gloomy face and came over to ask. Jun Changshao said, "I've been researching Pill Dao recently and am lacking some medicinal ingredients. I searched the city for half a day but couldn't find what I need." Patriarch Li said in surprise, "Sect Master Jun knows Pill Dao? Blacksmiths, alchemists, formation masters, and spirit masters of the falling star continent were the most respected. Alchemists and spirit masters were especially revered. Pills and spirit stones were of great help to one's cultivation. Many sects had alchemists and spirit masters who were even treated as guests of honor and enjoyed special treatment and privileges." "I know a little," Jun Changshao replied. Patriarch Li's gaze became even more surprised. This Iron Bone sect master was indeed not simple. His son becoming his disciple was definitely the best choice. Sect Master Jun, although Qingyang City is the capital city of Qingyang County, it's relatively weak in terms of medicinal ingredients. If you want to buy medicinal ingredients, you'll have to go to Huyang City." Huyang City? Jun Changshao thought of the AI family and his eyes lit up. The AI family has been in the business of medicinal pills for generations. Perhaps they have the medicinal ingredients to refine their own pills. The next day, Jun Changshao bid farewell to Patriarch Li and returned to Iron Bone with his 4 disciples. However, when he returned, he found a man wearing a bamboo hat and rough clothes standing in front of the red lacquered door. He held a saber and snored rhythmically. "It's him again." "Who?" "Wandering Saber Master, Ma Yongning." Su Xiaoma walked over and waved his hand in front of him. "Sect Master, this guy fell asleep standing up again." Jun Changshao said, "Zui Ji, carry him outside. Don't block the door here." "Yes." Xiao Ziji walked over and carried Ma Yongning. The other party seemed to be really sleepy. When he was carried away, he was still snoring. Shwa! Xiao Ziji placed Ma Yongning at the entrance of the stone stairs and turned to leave. Little did he know that he had placed Ma Yongning at the bottom of the stairs, half of his feet dangling in the air. Now he was sleeping like a rock. When he woke up and stretched or yawned, he would definitely lose his center of gravity. Then, P.S. Author's words can't be displayed on QQ. I won't mention the names of the readers who tipped me in the past few days. I'll thank you one by one here. Now I have 8,000 plus votes. I hope it will break 9,000 on the last day of the weekend. Iron Bone Group, 702705427. The shy author is waiting for you to flirt with him. Chapter 91. After returning to the Iron Bone, Jun Changshao had been thinking about how to obtain a large amount of herbs to refine the 4 types of pills. Needless to say, the more the better. Even if he couldn't use them, he could sell them and make a lot of money. The body-shaping pill and the chi-gathering pill strengthened the body and increased the speed of cultivation. They were essential items for martial artists. Naturally, the more the better. The chi-revolving pill was even more amazing. With it, disciples could open 12 meridians and become a martial disciple easily. If he had all 4 types of pills and had an inexhaustible supply, he would be invincible and could quickly break through. No. Jun Changshao said, I have to find the herbs as soon as possible. Even if I can't mass-produce them, I should at least refine 100 pills each. Huyang City, I have to go. He didn't leave immediately. Instead, he opened the alchemy pavilion and refined 4 sets of healing pills, 3 sets of body-shaping pills, and 1 set of chi-gathering pills. The body-shaping pill can only be used once per person. Any more and it won't have any effect. I'll give it to Qianqian and Qingyang first. There were 100 disciples in the Iron Bone. Jun Changshao couldn't take care of all of them at the moment, so he could only give it to a few disciples who had joined earlier. Sect leader, what is this? Li Qingyang asked with a puzzled expression as he held the grape-sized body-shaping pill in his hands. Jun Changshao said, this is a body-shaping pill. After taking it, it can strengthen the meridians and body. The effect is very obvious. Li Qingyang's eyes widened. From what he knew, strengthening the body mostly depended on mental cultivation and hard work. It was hard to believe that a pill could change the body. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. The pill melted as soon as it entered his mouth. The medicinal juice merged into his body and instantly formed a special energy that filled his body. Soon, Li Qingyang could clearly feel that his blood, meridians, and every inch of his skin were transforming. His body's strength was constantly increasing. After the transformation, he went to the training room and punched the testing machine. It showed that his strength was 3,000 jin. This was the purest physical strength without using spiritual power. The previous test showed that his strength was 2,500 jin. After taking the body-shaping pill, it directly increased by 500 jin. Unbelievable! Li Qingyang exclaimed. Su Xiaoma also came for the test after taking it. Now that he was at the 12th stage of the meridian opening realm, he was able to punch out 2,000 kilograms without using any spirit energy, which was 200 kilograms more than before. Boom! Su Xiaoma kicked him again with a force of 2,500 pounds. Sure enough, after playing football for a while, his leg strength and athlete's foot chi had improved greatly, far surpassing the strength of his fists. A normal 12th stage meridian opening realm cultivator's strength was around 1,500. Su Xiaoma's aptitude wasn't high, so he could break through to 2,000 jin. This meant that the molding pill and the molding machine were very useful. Lu Qianqian also took the body-shaping pill. Although she was shocked, she didn't show it and didn't test her strength in front of the machine. She was really a cold and arrogant young lady. Qingyang. Jun Changshao ordered, let the disciples enter the molding room and the spirit energy formation in batches to achieve a balanced increase in strength. Yes. You are my little apple. Just like the most beautiful clouds in the sky. Spring came again and flowers bloomed on the hillside. You will reap what you sow. Early in the morning, the sound system played the divine song Little Apple. Under the dynamic rhythm, the Iron Bone disciples lined up neatly and danced to the beat. Yi Xingchen was among them. His steps were stiff and his movements were incoherent. He looked like he had nothing left to live for. After the morning exercise, the refreshed disciples either entered the molding room or the spirit energy formation under the second senior brother's arrangement and started a new day of cultivation. Jun Changshao ate in the cafeteria and planned to go to Huyang City. Suddenly, he heard a boom, and the red door flew past him and shattered on the training field. Friendly reminder, the Sect protection formation may not be activated every day. My door, thud. Ma Yongning strode over. His face was bruised and his body was covered in dust. He roared, "Who carried me away? Damn it!" Jun Changshao rushed over and poured his spirit energy into his fists. He rushed at the wandering swordsman and gave him a flurry of punches and kicks. Did my door offend you? You kick it every time you come. Thump, thump. At noon, on the training field, Ma Yongning, whose head was full of bumps and bruises, was waving a small hammer and repairing the red door that was split in half. Hiss! He accidentally touched his sore muscles and sucked in a breath of cold air. I'm a swordsman. How can I do such chores? Ma Yongning's eyes flashed with anger. He suddenly threw away the hammer and rushed to the door with his saber. Li Fei. Yes, senior brother. The disciple named Li Fei put down the ball and locked onto the escaping Ma Yongning. He raised his leg and shot the ball. Whoosh, Ma Yongning sensed that something was wrong. He looked back and was hit in the face by the ball. He fell backward. What a great sure-kill technique that relied on one's face to catch the ball. Su Xiaomao walked over and dragged one of his feet to the martial arts arena, saying, before the sect leader left, he said that if you don't fix the door, you can forget about leaving the Iron Bones sect. Damn it, Ma Yongning was furious, but he could only rub his face and continue to fix the door. Huyang City. Sect leader Jun stood on the main street and smelled the medicinal herbs in the air. He sighed, as expected of a medicinal herb city. As one of the 8 cities in Azure Sun County, Huyang City mainly sold pills and medicinal herbs. The AI family in the city had a long-established medicinal herb store. Jun Changshao didn't have the time to look around the unique buildings in the city. He asked the passers-by and went to the medicinal herb market. It was the right choice to come. He only went to a medicinal herb store and collected 5 sets of medicinal herbs for healing pills. There were at least 10 medicinal herb stores in the medicinal herb market. This made Jun Changshao very happy. He went from one store to another and bought all kinds of medicinal herbs for refining pills. After an hour of shopping, he concluded that there were 20 sets of healing pills, 5 sets of molding pills, 4 sets of qi-gathering pills, and 2 sets of revolving pills. Huyang City was known as the medicinal herb city in Azure Sun County. It was indeed better than Azure Sun City in terms of medicinal herbs. However, the quantity was still not enough for Jun Changshao. Therefore, he could only go to the largest medicinal herb store in the market, the AI family's medicinal herb store. Young master, do you need anything? When he entered the medicinal herb store, a quick-witted shop assistant came up to him. Jun Changshao swept his gaze over the dazzling array of shelves inside the store and said, "Call your shopkeeper over. We have a big business deal to discuss." Big business? The shop assistant hurriedly went to inform the shopkeeper in the inner courtyard. Soon, a pot-bellied middle-aged man walked out. He cupped his hands and smiled. "I am Ma Zheng, the shopkeeper of the medicinal herb store. May I know who you are?" Jun Changshao placed a medicinal herb in the basket and said with his hands behind his back, "Iron Bone Upright Sect leader." Shopkeeper Ma was shocked. "You are Jun Changshao." Looking at shopkeeper Ma's expression, sect leader Jun guessed that shopkeeper Ma must have heard about the big things he had done recently. Sigh. I am no longer an ordinary person. I can scare people when I announce my identity. Shopkeeper Ma's face darkened and he shouted, "You dare to come to my medicinal herb store after beating up my young master AI? You have guts. Men, take him down." Swoosh! Swoosh! A group of thugs rushed out from the inner courtyard and surrounded Jun Changshao. The corner of his mouth twitched as he thought to himself, this isn't right, right? Chapter 92. AI Family, Main Hall. AI Family's patriarch, AI Shanka, was discussing the recent medicinal herb business with several elders, a smile appearing on his face from time to time. AI Shanka and the other elder were also full of smiles. During this period of time, many cities and sects came to purchase medicinal herbs, business was booming, and the profits were higher than previous years, so they were naturally in a good mood. Patriarch, have you heard that Iron Bone's disciple won the sect competition? After discussing business, AI Shanka began to chat. AI Shanka took a sip of tea and said, I heard. Third brother, you're right, Iron Bone is not simple. Second elder AI Shangfang said. AI Shanka said, 4 disciples took the top 4 of the sect competition, this is unprecedented, Iron Bone can do it is not by chance. Also. He paused and said in a deep voice, Spirit Spring sect was also destroyed by Iron Bone's sect leader. What? AI Shanka and AI Shangfang were shocked. The two of them had been in seclusion for the past few days, and the news stopped at Iron Bone's victory. AI Shanka said that Jun Changshao went to Spirit Spring Mountain alone, killed Wei Yishi, Wei Yinu, and more than 30 disciples, and even set fire to Spirit Spring sect. That's too reckless. AI Shangfang said with his eyes wide open. AI Shanka said, Spirit Spring sect and Sacred Spring sect are related, Iron Bone destroyed them, isn't that courting death? AI Shangfang said, not just Sacred Spring sect, in my opinion, the 100 Races Alliance will not let Iron Bone go, after all, the Alliance has a rule that members are not allowed to destroy sections. AI Shanka said, yesterday, Alliance Master Qin held an Alliance meeting at Star Moon Pavilion, they should be discussing how to punish Iron Bone. Poochie, Poochie. A carrier pigeon flew over and landed on the tea table with a small bamboo tube tied to its leg. AI Shanka took it down and said, news from Green Sun City. When he opened it, his expression froze, and his eyes were filled with shock. Patriarch, what's wrong? AI Shangfang asked. AI Shang tossed the letter over, and AI Shang came over as well. After the two of them read the letter, a look of surprise appeared on their faces. There were only a few paragraphs in the letter, and the content was as follows. The leader of the Iron Bone sect severely injured the leader of the Long Blade sect with 2 moves. 2 moves to heavily injure a 9th-grade martial disciple, Shintong. AI Shangfang was startled. Could that Iron Bone sect leader be a martial master? AI Shanka recalled the scene when he fought with Jun Changshao and said with a grave expression, no wonder he's so fast. He's a martial master. The speed of the afterimage was still imprinted in his mind. Every time he thought about it, he would feel a chill run down his spine. After all, if he had any killing intent at that time, he would have died many times over. AI Shang was silent for a moment before he said, this Iron Bone is no small matter. At first, when Ishank was defeated, he was still furious. He almost couldn't stop him and took his men to Iron Bone to take revenge. What about now? His attitude had changed. Annihilating the Spirit Spring sect and severely injuring the leader of the Long Blade sect meant that Jun Changshao was not simple. The AI family was originally a business, and they valued harmony. Iron Bone's recent performance was amazing, so they naturally had to consider carefully. AI Shang said, Patriarch, for such a sect, it's best if we can befriend them. If we can't make enemies. Makes sense. AI Shang agreed. Not good. At this moment, a servant rushed in and said in a panic, Sect leader, elders, someone is causing trouble in the medicine shop. AI Shang and AI Shang stood up, their eyes filled with anger. The AI family had been in Huyang City for hundreds of years, and this was the first time someone dared to cause trouble in the medicine shop. AI Shang asked in a low voice, what happened? The servant said anxiously, a guy who called himself the leader of the Iron Bones sect, he beat up our guards. What? AI Shang and AI Shang opened their mouths. Just now they were talking about Jun Changshao, saying that they should befriend him. If they can't make enemies. Now he directly came to cause trouble in the medicine shop. This was a bit fucked. Let's go. AI Shang stood up and walked out. At the entrance of the AI family's medicine shop, a group of martial artists were gathered, sometimes pointing at the shop, sometimes discussing. Yes, it's the leader of the Iron Bones sect. Strange, he's not in the Iron Bones sect. Why is he in Huyang City? The AI family has been in the city for hundreds of years, and no one dared to cause trouble. This Iron Bones sect leader is really bold. If he's a coward, how can he annihilate the Spirit Spring sect? Someone has already informed the AI family. There will be a good show to watch. They're here, the AI family's patriarch and elders are here. Someone shouted. Many cultivators turned their heads and saw the AI family's patriarch walking over with two elders. His expression was very serious. Swish! Swish! AI Shang and the other two walked into the medicine shop. One by one, the AI family's martial artists fell to the ground, holding their stomachs. It seemed that they were beaten to the point that they couldn't stand up. Elder AI. Suddenly, a voice came from the living room, "We meet again." Jun Changshao crossed his legs and leaned back on the chair. The shopkeeper called Ma Zheng stood beside him, covering his face. His legs and stomach were trembling violently because the Azure Dragon biscuit was pressed against his neck. If he moved a little, his head would be separated from his body. AI Shang's eyes darkened. His subordinates and shopkeeper were beaten to such a state. This was too much. AI Shang said in a deep voice, "Sect leader Jun, what do you mean?" Jun Changshao looked at the trembling shopkeeper and said, "I came to your shop to talk business with the AI family, but the shopkeeper ordered people to take me down, so I was forced to fight back." Hearing this, AI Shang and the other two understood. AI Shang cupped his hands and said, "Sect leader Jun, we can talk things out, please put down the saber first." If he didn't hear that the other party had seriously injured the Long Saber sect's patriarch, he wouldn't be so kind. That's right. Jun Changshao put down the saber and said, if he was as polite as Elder AI, things wouldn't have turned out this way. Plop. The saber on his neck was gone. Shopkeeper Ma collapsed on the ground, cold sweat running down his forehead. The injured cultivator was carried away, and so was the frightened shopkeeper. Only Jun Changshao and the three AI family elders were left in the shop. The four of them sat in the living room. The atmosphere was solemn. AI Shang suppressed his unhappiness and said, "Sect leader Jun wants to talk business with the AI family?" "That's right." Jun Changshao said, "It's a big deal." "What kind of deal?" AI Shang was interested. Business was the most important thing in the world. That was the AI family's motto. Jun Changshao put a piece of paper on the table and said, "The herbs written here, I want as many as your AI family has." AI Shang and the two elders looked at each other and picked up the paper. There were 12 kinds of herbs written on it, some common and some rare. Sect leader Jun, he raised his head and said, "Are you sure you want as many as you have?" Jun Changshao could tell from the AI family's eyes that the AI family had a lot of the herbs he needed, so he said seriously, "That's right, I want as many as you have." AI Shang said, "Sect leader Jun, the AI family has more than 200 of the rarest flower leaves. If you buy all of them, the price will not be cheap." More than 200. Jun Changshao's heart was in turmoil. There were 3 kinds of cyclone pills. The first 2 were easy to find, but the flower leaves were hard to find. The AI family had more than 200 of them. If he bought all of them, he could refine more than 200 cyclone pills. "I want all of them," Jun Changshao said without hesitation. For kinds of herbs, he had to get them even if he had to sell everything. AI Shang pinched his fingers and narrowed his eyes. After some calculation, he said, "Sect leader Jun, if you want all of the herbs written here, you will need to pay at least 100,000 taels." 100,000 taels. Jun Changshao crossed his arms and smiled, no problem. Chapter 93. Jun Changshao's net worth was 50,000 taels after looting the mountain bandits' treasure house and receiving the reward. Could he gather 100,000 taels? Yes, yes. After destroying the Spirit Spring Sect, not counting the various treasures and martial skills, just the gold alone was worth 10,000 taels. Ai Shang and Ai Shang Ku, the two elders, were surprised. 100,000 taels was not a small amount. It was inconceivable that a ninth-rate sect could take out so much. Master Ai. Jun Changshao said, how long will it take to transport these herbs? Ai Shangku thought for a moment and said, if Master Jun needs them urgently, they can be transported here in 4 hours. I need them urgently. Jun Changshao said. He couldn't wait to get the herbs in his hands and take out the furnace to refine pills in large quantities. Ai Shangku looked at Ai Shangfang and said, go and inform the medicine store elders to transport all the herbs Master Jun needs to the medicine store. Yes. Ai Shangfang received the order and turned to leave. 4 hours was a bit long, so Ai Shangku chatted casually, Master Jun needs so many herbs, could it be that you want to refine pills? Jun Changshao said, yes. The Ai family was in the business of pills and herbs, so they might need them in the future. His tone was more gentle, not as arrogant and despotic as in the Moon Star Pavilion. This was Jun Changshao. He could ruthlessly destroy the Spirit Spring Sect, but he could also sit down and chat with Master Ai like an old friend. This was because the Ai family valued harmony. If it was a martial arts family, if their subordinates were beaten in their own shop, they would have drawn their swords long ago. Ai Shangku was surprised, is Master Jun refining pills? Yes. Jun Changshao said. The surprise in Ai Shangku's eyes became stronger, Master Jun's cultivation is extraordinary, and you know alchemy. You are a dragon among men. As expected of someone in the business world, his words made Jun Changshao embarrassed. He said humbly, Jun also learned a craft. If I don't become a sect master in the future, I can still make a living. Ai Shangku and Ai Shangku's mouths twitched. The path of alchemy was not like that of a chef. One could learn the craft just by picking up a spoon. It depended on one's aptitude and physique. According to the statistics of the relevant departments of the Starfall continent, only 1 in 100,000 people had the aptitude for alchemy, which was quite rare. Ai Shangyi said, since Sect Master Jun views the Tao of pills as a craft, I presume you already have a very high level of attainment in this field? Not bad. As soon as Jun Changshao finished speaking, a thought arose in his mind. He leaned forward and clasped his fingers together. Oh right, Patriarch Ai, does your Ai family accept pills? Ai Shang smiled and said, my Ai family is in the business of collecting and selling medicinal pills. The Ai clan's pill workshop had branches in every city in the Azure Sun County. At least half of the pills sold in those branches were purchased from others. It could be considered as buying a brand. Jun Changshao said, I have a kind of healing pill here, is Patriarch Ai interested in purchasing it? This, Patriarch Ai hesitated for a moment and said, to be honest, Sect Master Jun, healing pills are the most common medicinal pills. Our Ai family has a lot of them, so we don't have any need for them at the moment. Jun Changshao leaned back in his chair and said, Patriarch Ai, forgive me for being blunt, but your Ai family's healing pills are just a pile of trash. Ai Shang and Ai Shang were stunned. Their eyes were filled with anger. The healing pills they sold had always been of high quality. It was definitely unacceptable for them to be described as trash. Jun Changshao took out a beginner healing pill and placed it on the table. Patriarch Ai, you can take a look at the healing pill I refined. Ai Shang said indifferently, Sect Master Jun, there's nothing special about your pill. As a veteran who had been dealing with medicinal pills for many years, the quality of medicinal pills could be roughly determined with a single glance. The beginner healing pill was indeed not outstanding. Its color was also slightly dull. When he took it out to save Li Qingyang, Lu Qianqian thought it was an ordinary medicine. Jun Changshao said, Patriarch Ai, please take a closer look. Ai Shang and Ai Shang looked at each other. They pinched the healing pill and released spiritual energy to envelop it. They shook their heads and said, Sect Master Jun, this is indeed very ordinary. It's like a beginner's healing pill. Generations of alchemists, your AI family really doesn't know what's good for them. How about this? Jun Changshao said, Patriarch Ai can invite the injured shopkeeper Ma to verify the effects of my healing pill. Ai Shang glanced at Ai Shang. The latter nodded and walked out of the hall. Soon, he brought Ma Jing over. Shua! Suddenly, Jun Changshao rushed over. He poured spiritual energy into his fist and fiercely punched shopkeeper Ma's big belly, causing it to cave in. Pooh! Shopkeeper Ma's eyes suddenly widened and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Jun Changshao circled behind him and threw him over his shoulder to the ground. Then, he punched him twice. Duh! The whole process happened very quickly. When shopkeeper Ma was half dead on the ground, Ai Shang stood up angrily and shouted, Jun Changshao, you've gone too far. For the sake of business, he could ignore what happened just now. But now, he attacked shopkeeper Ma and beat him up like this. Even a clay figurine would be angry. Jun Changshao returned to his seat and held his face with one hand. He made a gesture and said, Shopkeeper Ma's injuries can be considered serious. Patriarch Ai, please try the healing pill. If it can't cure him immediately, Jun is willing to destroy his meridians. In order to promote his healing pill, he beat someone up violently and then made a bet to commit suicide. This was definitely a double whammy. Cure him immediately. Ai Shang said coldly, Sect Master Jun, do you think this healing pill is an immortal pill? Saying that, he walked in front of shopkeeper Ma and threw a beginner healing pill into his mouth. After all, the attack just now was too heavy. If he didn't treat him quickly, his life would be in danger. Ai Shang also took out his own healing pill. However, before he could pour out the healing pill, the half-dead shopkeeper Ma suddenly stood up from the ground. Dang dang dang. Ai Shang and Ai Shang retreated in shock. Their faces were full of shock. Shopkeeper Ma, who was beaten half-dead by Jun Changshao, stood up straight. It was simply too shocking. Shopkeeper Ma raised his hands and said with a dumbfounded face, my injuries are healed. Ai Shang and Ai Shang's eyes gradually widened. Jun Changshao's attack just now was very violent. This guy was definitely seriously injured. Even if he was treated in time, he couldn't avoid being bedridden for 3 months. After taking a seemingly ordinary healing pill, he actually stood up and could even speak. What the hell? Or was it a joke? Ai Shang was, after all, experienced in life. He stepped forward and grabbed shopkeeper Ma's wrist. He poured his spiritual energy into it and saw that the meridians in his body were intact. He was instantly petrified. Ai Shang also rushed over and grabbed shopkeeper Ma's other hand. He saw that the other party didn't have any internal injuries. His mind went blank and he was stunned on the spot. Such serious injuries healed so quickly. This wasn't a healing pill, this was an immortal pill. Ai Shang and Ai Shang, as well as shopkeeper Ma, were dumbfounded. They stood there like 3 art sculptures. Jun Changshao crossed his arms and said with a smile, Master Ai, how is the effect of Jun's healing pill? Ai Shang came back to his senses and hurriedly leaned over. He placed his hands on the table and said with a serious expression, Sect Master Jun, my AI family will buy as many of these healing pills as you have. Seriously injured people would recover immediately after taking it. The healing pill's effect was simply terrifying. Any normal businessman would know that once it was sold, it would cause a huge commotion. Jun Changshao smiled, price? Sect Master Jun, open it yourself. Ai Shang said. Jun Changshao rubbed his chin. After thinking for a while, he said, 10,000 taels for one pill. Okay. AI Shang agreed without any hesitation. Jun Changxiao's mouth twitched. He was secretly annoyed. Did I ask for too little? P.S. I'm Old Book and the new book will be updated together. The main character of Old Book is Yun Fei Yang. If the main character of the new book suddenly changed his name, it must be a mistake. Everyone can leave a message to remind me and I will correct it. Chapter 94. It was common for cultivators in the Falling Star continent to be injured. If one wasn't injured and didn't have the experience of being bedridden for half a month, they would be too embarrassed to greet their peers. Therefore, Jun Changxiao's healing pill could instantly heal a heavily injured person. It could only be described as heaven-defying. As the AI clan's patriarch, who had been in the pill business for many years, with his keen sense of smell, he could instantly smell the high value and profit of this pill. Not to mention 10,000, he wouldn't hesitate even if it was 50,000. Jun Changxiao was very depressed, but he couldn't change the price he offered, so he said, AI family head, this king has refined 10 of these healing pills. Shopkeeper Ma has already taken one, so there are still 9 left. If you want all of them, then I'll give you 100,000 taels. He still had 20 beginner-grade healing pills. If he didn't sell all of them, he could keep some for himself and raise the price next time. As for the 10 healing pills, it was fine if he sold them less. He would just treat it as a test run. AI Shang was on the verge of collapse. If he knew from the start that the healing pill was heaven-defying, he definitely wouldn't have given it to Ma Zheng. After all, it could be sold at a sky-high price. Sure. Patriarch AI said straightforwardly, my AI clan is willing to pay 100,000 for these 9 pills. Jun Changxiao placed the 9 healing pills on the table and said, Patriarch AI, do you want to pay with banknotes or medicinal herbs? AI Shang said, my AI clan has always done business according to the rules. We won't pay with goods. As he spoke, he took out a thick stack of banknotes from his interspatial ring. It was exactly 100,000. Damn it. Bringing so much money out, isn't the AI clan's patriarch afraid of being robbed? Jun Changxiao didn't take back the banknotes and said, Patriarch AI, although the healing pill can heal injuries, my alchemy skills are limited. It's only suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators. AI Shang's face changed slightly. He was still thinking of buying the healing pill and increasing the publicity to let the entire Azure Sun County know about it. If it was only suitable for meridian opening realm cultivators and martial disciples, the limitations would be too great. It can heal injuries quickly. Even if it's only suitable for meridian opening realm cultivators and martial disciples, it's still terrifying. AI Shang thought for a moment and said, Shangku, bring the contract. Yes. AI Shanka took out a transaction contract. As expected of a professional business family, they even had to sign and make a mark. Sect Master Jun AI Shang narrowed his eyes and said seriously, I hope that these 9 pills will have the same effect as the previous one. He was worried that he would be cheated. Jun Changxiao leaned over and said, don't worry, Patriarch AI. Since I'm here to sell medicinal pills, I won't cheat. AI Shang also believed that the leader of a sect would not do such a thing. The two of them signed their names and pressed their fingerprints, completing the transaction. Only then did Jun Changxiao unceremoniously store the 100,000 silver notes into his spatial ring. He had spent several hundred taels on the ingredients for the 10 healing pills, and in the end, he had sold them for 100,000 taels. The profit was terrifying. Jun Changxiao began to fantasize. With enough medicinal ingredients, he could refine more healing pills and sell them. Then, he would spend a lot of money to expand the Iron Bone Factory and build it as grand as the Imperial Palace. After the medicinal pill business was settled, the two of them began to chat enthusiastically. More than 2 hours later, AI Shangfang walked into the shop and said, Family head, the herbs sect head Jun requested have been prepared. As he spoke, he put down a few spatial rings. AI Shang stretched out his hand and said with a smile, "Sect Head Jun, please check the goods." This kind of spatial ring did not need to recognize the owner. Anyone could peek into it. Jun Changshao entered the rings one by one until he counted the herbs inside. Then, he said, "The quality of the herbs is not bad. Family Head AI, please give me a price." Sect Head Jun, "These herbs are a total of 100 and 500 taels." AI Shang said. AI Shang narrowed his eyes and said, "Sect Head Jun, just give me a total." Shwa! Jun Changshao waved his hand lightly and 10,000 taels of gold piled up like a small mountain in the living room. Although gold was more valuable than silver and banknotes were still the main currency in the Falling Star continent. Jun Changshao did not use the 100,000 taels of banknotes he just received. He directly paid the gold because he did not want to go to the bank to exchange for other items. TSK. Family Head AI raised his thumb and said, 10,000 taels of gold, Sect Head Jun is really generous. As he spoke, he gave AI Shang a look. The other party took out another contract. It was obvious that this medicinal pill business had to be signed and stamped. Very proper, very particular. Jun Changshao signed his name and stamped it. When Family Head AI also stamped his name, a crisp system notification sounded in his ears. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have gained 20 contribution points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have gained 50 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 245500. It can't be, right? Spending gold is also a hidden mission. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have triggered the hidden reward. The right to purchase the aptitude transformation liquid has been transferred to the purchased items section. There is a hidden reward. Jun Changshao hurriedly opened the system store and clicked on the purchased items section. He saw that the originally blank section had an additional aptitude transformation liquid. He clicked on the details and the content was item, aptitude transformation liquid. Effect, can transform one's aptitude and raise it by 1 level. Note, can only be used by middle-grade aptitude users. Effectiveness, lifetime. Price, 50 contribution points. Seeing that the effect was for middle-grade aptitude users, Jun Changshao suddenly laughed loudly, scaring the 3 higher-ups of the AI family. What is going on? While the 3 of them were dumbfounded, Jun Changshao cupped his fists and said, "Master AI, I will take my leave first. Please." AI Shangyao and the 2 elders hurriedly sent him off. He's out. Outside the medicine store, the onlookers were very active. They had waited for 4 hours to see how the AI family would deal with the trouble caused by the Iron Bone Sect Master. However, when they saw the AI family master and the 2 elders accompanying Jun Changshao out with a smile, the onlookers' expressions froze. He came to the store to cause trouble, and the owner sent him off with a smile. This is not right. Goodbye, Master AI. Have a safe journey, Sect Master Jun. Under the gaze of the onlookers, Jun Changshao left. Ding! Host has spent 50 contribution points and obtained aptitude transformation liquid X1. It has been transferred to the space ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 195500. After leaving the city, Jun Changshao bought the aptitude transformation liquid and drank it all. Ding! Host has used aptitude transformation liquid X1. Transforming spiritual root aptitude. Spiritual root aptitude transformation completed. Host has successfully broken through to 7th grade martial disciple. After the middle grade spiritual root was upgraded to a high grade spiritual root, Jun Changshao's cultivation was driven by it and rose to another level. With the upgrade of the spiritual root, he had a higher compatibility with the spiritual qi in the world. When he walked on the road, he could feel the spiritual qi following him like a shadow. At that moment, Jun Changshao finally understood why Li Qingyang, who had a high-grade spiritual root, was called a rare genius. Awesome! What was even more awesome was that when he returned to the sect, he opened the alchemy pavilion. Because the herbs were stored in the space ring, the 4 types of elixirs were all in the state of being able to be refined. Chapter 95. Jun Changshao spent 100,000 taels to buy the materials needed to refine pills. More than 800 sets of beginner healing pills. More than 400 sets of beginner shaping pills and qi gathering pills. More than 200 sets of qi whirling pills. Most of the 100,000 taels were spent on the last 3 types of pills. Healing pills took up a smaller proportion. Refine. Jun Changshao did not return to the sect. He pressed the button to refine beginner healing pills. Ding! Ding! A crisp sound rang out beside his ear, and one pill after another appeared in the space ring like a glass ball. In a short time, more than 800 beginner healing pills were refined. If it were an experienced alchemist, it would take at least a few months to refine even the most common healing pills. Jun Changshao said, "This alchemy pavilion is too powerful." After the sect was upgraded to level 2, he was initially concerned about the various upper limits. In fact, the one that was truly powerful was the alchemy pavilion. Jun Changshao was now looking forward to the smithing pavilion after upgrading the sect to level 3. With the alchemy pavilion as a template, he guessed that the smithing pavilion should also have the function of forging weapons with one button. Pills. Weapons. They were crucial to the martial artists of the Falling Star continent. If they had both, how could they not be strong? Thinking about it was just thinking. He was still too far away from upgrading the sect to level 3. After all, if the number of people was not enough, he could not trigger the sect mission and it would be difficult to obtain achievement value. Continue refining pills. Jun Changshao was refining pills as he hurried on his way. A beautiful ding-ding-ding sound rang in his ears. The pills were also constantly gathering in the spatial ring. However, there was a small problem. When refining beginner shaping pills in large quantities, the speed was obviously slower than refining healing pills. The system said, although the alchemy pavilion can refine pills as a whole, if the level of the pills is higher, it will take a longer time. I see. Jun Changshao did not mind. After all, it was not that much slower. Half an hour later, all 400 sets of body-shaping pills were out of the furnace. As for refining the 400 sets of qi-gathering pills, it took an hour. After refining the 3 types of pills, he started refining the most important one, the qi-whirling pills. In the end, he rushed for 2 hours and returned to the iron bone. Only then did he finish refining all 200 points. It's a bit slow, Jun Changshao murmured. There were more than 1,800 pills in total, and with the help of the pill apothecary pavilion, Zhang Xian had traveled all the way from Huyang City to Iron Bone City in less than 4 hours. Yet, that fellow actually had the cheek to complain that it was too slow. Sect leader, the door has been fixed. What do you think? Su Xiaomao pointed at the red-painted door erected on the martial arts field as soon as he entered the sect. It's all right. Jun Changshao asked, where's that guy? He's locked in a cell, Su Xiaomao said. The corner of Jun Changshao's mouth twitched. You locked him up with 2 assassins. What if a fight breaks out? Sect master, don't worry. The 3 of them are very honest. Su Xiaomao grinned. Really? Jun Changshao got up and went to the prison. Through the gap between the door and window, he saw Ma Yongning leaning against the wall, hugging a knife and looking at the 2 assassins. The atmosphere was slightly solemn. After a while, Ma Yongning said, you 2 have been staring at me for a long time. Do you want to learn from each other? Gold-ranked assassin, clang. Ma Yongning drew his knife and said in a deep voice, I've been in the martial arts world for many years. What kind of battle have I not seen? Don't think that you can scare me by wearing black. Come on. Let's compete. Gold-ranked assassin and assassin looked at each other and thought, Is there something wrong with this fellow's brain? Sect leader, what should we do with them? Su Xiaoma asked. Jun Changshao turned around and said, lock Ma Yongning up for a few days and release him. As for the 2 assassins, keep them locked up. Yes. Jun Changshao went to the training room and trained there for 4 hours. Then, he took a shower and returned to his residence. People from the AI family. Sitting in the study, he murmured, they should start planning how to advertise the beginner healing pill. Yes. AI Shang and the senior members of the AI family were discussing how to sell the few healing pills and maximize their profits. Phew. Jun Changshao rested his head on his hands and said, I forgot to tell them not to tell outsiders that I refined the pills. AI Shang was a shrewd businessman. Without his permission, he would never reveal the pills to others. After all, he was afraid that his peers would cut him off. Tomorrow, call the disciples over and distribute the pills to them. Let them have 1 each. Jun Changshao had spent so much money to refine so many pills. He wanted his disciples to become stronger. Otherwise, how could they become the strongest sect in 100 years? He stayed in the study for a while. Then, he returned to his bedroom and sat cross-legged on the bed. He started to operate the I Jin Jing and began to absorb the spiritual power of heaven and earth. He had a high-grade spiritual root. His absorption and refinement of spiritual power was much faster. The benefit of this was that his Dantian's chi vortex could gather energy at a faster rate. At this time, even if he didn't rely on the system's upgrade function, his progress wouldn't be slower than Li Qingyang's. After several transformations of his spiritual root, Master Jun could be considered to have broken away from his mortal roots. He had gloriously become a genius. This was just the beginning. Jun Changshao's goal was a divine spiritual root. After cultivating for 2 hours, it was already late at night. Jun Changshao opened the attribute panel and clicked on the beginner's shop. Rows of products appeared. After browsing through them, he didn't find anything useful. He decisively refreshed. Ding! Sect achievement value, 185500. There were many new products. When Jun Changshao looked through them one by one, he suddenly stood up with a whoosh. His eyes were filled with excitement. On the second last row, the last item was a modified QBU-88 sniper rifle. Gun. Sniper rifle. A domestically produced sniper rifle. Jun Changshao was extremely excited. He said in disbelief, I got a sniper rifle. I got a sniper rifle. Ah ha ha. Ah ha 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 ha. The laughter broke the silence of the night. The disciples who were sleeping soundly woke up. They were puzzled and asked, where did that goose cry come from? The system couldn't help but ridicule, it only has a 0.1% chance. The host's luck is dog shit. He was bored and directly got a sniper rifle. His luck was indeed heaven-defying. Jun Changshao calmed down. He didn't bother with the system. Instead, he excitedly opened the detailed introduction. Item, modified QBU-88 sniper rifle. Introduction, the original sniper rifle of the Chinese army. After modification, it is suitable for the world of martial arts. The bullets are condensed from crystal nuclei. It can shoot accurately from a long distance. Effect, fast firing rate, long range, strong penetrating power. Duration, permanent. Weakness, although it has been modified, the bullet capacity is only 10 rounds. Also, the recoil is large. It needs to be supported on the ground to shoot. Otherwise, use with caution. Price, 100 contribution points. After seeing the price, Jun Changshao stared and said, a modified sniper rifle is actually comparable to 2 bottles of quality modification liquid. The system said, the host doesn't have to buy it. If I don't buy it, my head will be kicked by a donkey. Jun Changshao said. He had already clicked on the purchase button. Ding! The host has spent 100 contribution points. You have obtained a modified QBU-88 Sniper Rifle X1. It has been transferred into the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 85,500. Before the notification ended, Jun Changshao had already taken out the QBU-88 Sniper Rifle. The rifle was nearly 1 meter long. It was very heavy and very heavy. What was even more impressive was that the body of the rifle was painted in green camouflage. Shwa! With a thought, he took out the modified 8x scope and stuck it in the aiming slot. Jun Changshao raised his left hand and held it with his right hand. He closed his left eye and leaned his right eye against the lens. A man should play with a sniper rifle. Chapter 96. The moment he raised the Type 88 sniper rifle, Jun Changshao felt that he could kill gods and immortals. The system poured cold water on him. Although the sniper rifle is powerful, without the high-level crystal core to condense bullets, its power is about the same as the Desert Eagle. How about using the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core to make bullets? Jun Changshao asked. The system was silent for a while, then said, "It's okay." Jun Changshao and the gun entered the space ring, took out the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core, and loaded it with bullets like the Desert Eagle. Ding! 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 After a while, the Type 88 sniper rifle's magazine was lined with 10 bullet-shaped lights, indicating that all the bullets were loaded. As for the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core, it was all used up. Damn! Jun Changshao was shocked, so much energy. One Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core, the Desert Eagle can continuously supply 14 bullets. The system said, the sniper rifle is powerful, so naturally it requires more energy to condense the bullets. Jun Changshao's mouth twitched. If I fire a shot, won't the recoil be as high as the sky? So, the system said seriously, without a strong body, it's best to use the bipod to support the shot. Caw! Jun Changshao opened the bipod and placed it on the window, then leaned against the lens and aimed at the night sky. Ding! Sniper rifle is loaded with bullets. Ding! Do you want to activate the 8x scope enhancement mode? Hearing the system's notification, Jun Changshao secretly said, "What the hell is this enhancement mode?" Although he did not understand, he still shouted in his heart, "Activate!" Ding! The host has successfully activated the 8x scope enhancement mode, consuming 5 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 80500. Damn you! Jun Changshao scolded, deducting contribution points. Do you have to be so deceitful? Suddenly, he felt the 8x scope tremble slightly. He hurriedly looked at it, and the expression on his face froze. In the scope's field of vision, he could clearly see the wild rabbits looking for food a few hundred meters away from the sect. Damn it! Jun Changshao said in disbelief, This is X-ray vision. Shwa! He moved the sniper rifle and aimed in another direction. As long as he could see all the animals that appeared at night clearly. Jun Changshao could not hide his excitement as he said, I am now but a Lulai. Shwa! He shifted his position again and aimed at the male disciples' room. He could clearly see Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and the others in the room. Some of them were cultivating, while others were sleeping. Jun Changshao raised his gun and aimed at the female disciples' room. Just as he was about to move, he suppressed this thought and said in all seriousness, Jun Changshao, you are the leader of a sect. How can you do such a despicable thing as peeping at a female disciple? Yes. Just a quick glance. He still aimed his gun at the female disciple's room, but his gaze suddenly turned cold. Because when he moved, he discovered that there were 3 men in black hiding behind a rock a few hundred meters away from the sect. Assassin! Motherfucker, why are they here again? Just as the 8x scope locked onto the men in black, a soft voice sounded in his ear, Old 8 must be trapped in iron bone. We must find a way to save him. This little 9th-rate sect, could it be a dragon's lair or a tiger's den? After the 4 assassins of my drizzle building went in, they never came out again. In an instant, Jun Changshao determined that he had eavesdropped on their conversation. His mouth twitched, X-ray vision, eavesdropping, as expected of the enhanced mode. This iron bone is a bit strange. Let's first observe in the dark before we make a move. Friend, don't be in the dark. Your existence, even your whispers, can't be hidden under the 8x scope. The leader only gave us 3 days. Now there is only 1 day left. If we don't kill the leader of Iron Bone and save Old 8, it will be hard to report back. Kill me. Jun Changxiao's gaze became colder. He had already guessed that the assassins who came to kill him earlier were hired by Spirit Spring Sect. This time, the assassins came again because of drizzle building. Taking someone's money to get rid of a disaster for them is understandable. Jun Changxiao said coldly, but you came to provoke me without an employer. Drizzle building, you are courting death. Since he dared to destroy Spirit Spring Sect, he naturally dared to destroy an assassin organization. Whoosh! Jun Changxiao set up his sniper rifle and walked out of the room. He jumped onto the roof of the disciples' room and crawled down. He opened the mount and aimed the muzzle at the stone. Whoosh! In the 8x scope, the crosshair automatically locked onto the head of a man in black. As expected of the magically modified 8x scope. It had X-ray vision, eavesdropping, and self-aiming. It was simply too powerful. Crack! The bullet was loaded, and the safety was pulled. Jun Changxiao only needed to pull the trigger and shoot, and he would definitely hit the assassin he had locked onto, and he would be able to make a headshot. Yi Xingchen, who was cultivating, felt a bit of dust fall from the roof, but he did not think much of it. He continued to circulate Tendon changing classic and gathered his spirit energy to attack his second meridian. After midnight, we will quietly sneak in. The man in black said in a low voice as he poked his head out from the edge of the stone. He did not know that there was a sniper hiding on the roof of the sect, and the muzzle was locked onto his head. Assassins were mainly assassins. Snipers were also mainly assassins. Their professions were similar, and they were like ghosts. At this moment, sect leader Jun was holding his sniper rifle, and it was a battle between 2 ghost professions. But, this guy cheated by using his X-ray vision. In front of him, the assassin had nowhere to hide. I have already scouted from above. Jun Changxiao lives in an independent courtyard. When we rush in, kill him as quickly as possible. We cannot alert the Iron Bone disciples. Don't worry, 4th brother. We will definitely do it cleanly. Humph, Jun Changxiao will not escape this time. The 2 men in black sneered. Ding! Side quest triggered. Opening the data panel, the quest was kill the assassin hiding outside the Sect 03, elite quest. The corners of Jun Changxiao's mouth rose into a smile as he asked, at midnight? He was not in a hurry to shoot because the 2 men in black were hiding behind the stone. When they appeared in his field of vision, he would shoot them one by one. Huff! Jun Changxiao took a light breath, and the fingers that were holding the gun began to relax, preparing to bear the recoil of the shot. Time passed, and it was midnight. Move! Swoosh! The leader of the men in black jumped out from behind the stone and jumped from tree to tree. One look and one could tell that he was a professional assassin. Unfortunately, no matter how cool and elegant he was, he could not escape the automatic aim of the devil multiplier. At this time, Jun Changxiao could shoot with his eyes closed. Wait, wait! Wait for the other 2 men in black to come out. Swoosh! Swoosh! In a moment, the other 2 men in black came out from behind the stone. They did not stick together, but moved forward from different directions. Quite professional. Jun Changxiao moved the muzzle slightly and locked onto the man in black jumping in front of him. His finger on the trigger suddenly pressed down. Bam! The loud sound shocked Yi Xingchen, who was cultivating in the room, and jumped out of bed. He crossed his arms and said vigilantly, "What's going on?" Bam! Bam! Right at this moment, two loud bangs that sounded like firecrackers resounded, and it shook Yidi's eardrums to the point of ringing while astonishment suffused his eyes. Crack crack crack. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound above his head. He looked up, his pupils shrank, and cried out in sorrow, "What the fuck?" Boom. The room collapsed and dust flew everywhere. "What's going on?" Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma, who were nearby, ran out in their pajamas. When they saw Yixingchen's room collapse, they stood there dumbfounded. Chapter 97. 3 deafening gunshots roused all the disciples of the inner yard, and they quickly gathered around. "Junior brother Yi is buried. Quick, quick, dig him out." All the disciples worked together, carrying the bricks and carrying the beam. In a short while, they carried out the dusty Yixingchen. Fortunately, he had undergone muscle-building training, or else he would have fainted long ago. "Senior brother." Suddenly, Su Xiaoma exclaimed, "It's the sect leader." "What?" Li Qingyang hurriedly jumped to the ruins and saw the sect leader's leg exposed, his whole body buried in the rubble. "Dig! Dig!" Everyone continued to move the bricks, and soon they also carried out the dusty Jun Changshao. He grimaced in pain and said, "Waste, waste, gently." "What's going on?" What else could he do? He pulled the trigger of the Type 88 sniper rifle and fired 3 shots outside. Although he killed the 3 assassins one by one and completed the side mission, the huge recoil almost caused him to suffer internal injuries. This was with the support of a leg stand. If he were to shoot, he would have been sent flying from the disciples' room to the cliff behind. "Motherfucker, it's so strong." Jun Changshao secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, he had enough strength. If he was in the meridian opening stage, the recoil would have caused him to die. Although his whole body was weak from the recoil, he was glad that he completed the side mission and was rewarded with 100 contribution points. Now his contribution points to the sect were 180. He had earned back the contribution points from buying the Type 88 sniper rifle, and only wasted 3 bullets and 5 contribution points. There was still another disciple's room. The recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle was indeed strong. However, under the muscle-building training, Jun Changshao only needed to rest for a night, and his stiff body relaxed. He swung his arm, walked out of the sect, and came to the mountain forest. Of the 3 assassins last night, one had his head blown off, and the other 2 had their chests pierced. The reason why not all of them had their heads blown off was because after Jun Changshao blew off the first one's head, he found it too bloody and cruel, so he changed the 8x scope to automatic chest lock. Needless to say, the first assassin had his head blown off. As for the other 2 assassins, their wounds were as big as a fist. Jun Changshao looked back along the shooting trajectory and saw that the rocks in the distance had been blown to smithereens. His mouth twitched as he said, "I wasn't firing a sniper rifle. I was firing an artillery shell." Shwa! He squatted down, and after searching for a while, he found 3 spatial rings on the bodies of the 3 assassins. He then used the exquisite fire to incinerate the corpses. Inside the spatial rings of the 3 assassins, there was only one movement skill called Ghost Leap Steps, which cost less than 100 taels of silver. Jun Changshao took it and gave the rings to Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and Xiao Ziji. "Thank you, sect leader." The 3 of them put on the rings and cupped their fists. "Qingyang," Jun Changshao said, "gather the disciples. I have something to announce." "Yes." It didn't take long for the 100 disciples to gather and line up neatly on the training field. Jun Changshao walked out. After an impassioned speech, he began to let them receive 4 types of elixirs, 1 for each type. The effect of this healing elixir is that no matter how serious the injury is, as long as you take it, you will be healed immediately. As for the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir, after taking it, the strength of your physical body will. Jun Changshao introduced the effects of the elixirs one by one. The disciples holding the 4 types of elixirs all widened their eyes. "It's so magical." Yixingchen was also very surprised. Although he didn't know much about alchemy in his previous life, he had eaten many high-quality elixirs. A healing elixir that could instantly heal injuries was definitely unheard of. As for strengthening the physical body and increasing the speed of cultivation, he had seen it before. However, those were all high-quality elixirs. How could a ninth-rate sect have them? And to make it so that everyone could have one? Yi Xingqian had doubts, but when he saw the disciples swallow the body-shaping elixirs, he also opened his mouth and threw the elixir into his mouth. When the elixir took effect and he felt the transformation of his blood and meridians, his expression changed again and again. Bang! Li Fei, level 7 meridian opening, strength of 1100 gene. Bang! Zhang Wei, level 6 meridian opening, strength of 930 gene. Bang! The Iron Bone disciples who had taken the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir were tested one by one under the witness of the second senior brother. Yi Xingqian, who was standing at the side, twitched his mouth. These youths had ordinary aptitudes, but each of them had displayed a strength stronger than their level. It was simply unbelievable. Normally, one level would increase their strength by 100 gene. For a level 5 meridian opening, being able to display a strength of 700 gene was already considered an innate god of strength. After the Iron Bone disciples who had taken the body-shaping elixir, after a round of testing, their strength was generally 150 to 300 gene higher than their original level. If it was a group of high-grade spiritual roots, it would be understandable. In reality, only a small portion of them had middle-grade spiritual roots. Most of them had low-grade spiritual roots. This also meant that the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir could forcefully increase the strength of Iron Bone disciples regardless of the grade of their spiritual roots. Not bad, not bad. After receiving the test results, Jun Changshao nodded in satisfaction and said, "Qingyang, don't let them relax. Continue to cultivate and strive to enter level 12 meridian opening as soon as possible." Yes. In the morning, with the accompaniment of divine music, Lu Wancher's top-notch meals, and the spirit formation room, the Iron Bone disciples were very happy and diligent in their cultivation. They knew that the reason they could become stronger day by day was all because of the sect leader's nurturing. In order to repay him, they could only continuously improve themselves. Gradually, there were disciples who successfully opened their meridians with the help of the spirit formation room and the spirit formation room. Calculating the time, it had been almost 2 months since they had arrived at Iron Bone. How was the progress of their martial arts? In the beginning, their average cultivation was only at level 2 or 3. Now, they had risen to level 7 meridian opening and could open a new meridian every few days. Jun Changshao sat on a wooden chair in the main hall and muttered, "In less than a month, the disciples should be able to enter level 12 meridian opening." Sect leader. Su Xiaoma ran in excitedly, unable to hide his excitement. Disciple has broken through to martial disciple. Successfully condensing a cyclone in his dantian and breaking through to martial disciple was also because of the cyclone pill. After a while, Tian Qi also came to report, "Sect leader, disciple has broken through to martial disciple." Jun Changshao said, "Not bad, not bad." Including him, Iron Bone already had 5 martial disciples. This was rare in a 9th-rate sect. After cultivating for 4 hours, Jun Changshao opened the status panel again and looked at the shop where the sniper rifle had been refreshed. Soon, he saw a martial technique called self-chop. He clicked on the details item, self-chop description. Originally, it was only half a martial technique. Later, it was modified by a mysterious almighty person and became a complete technique. Effect: gather spiritual energy in the palm and form a crescent-shaped flowing light chop. Advantage: after being modified by a mysterious almighty person, it is easy to learn. It is powerful and consumes less spiritual energy. It is suitable for long-distance combat. Disadvantage: can only be cultivated by martial disciples. Price: 10 contribution points. Rank: early middle rank, only early middle rank. Jun Changshao immediately lost interest. After all, the body metamorphose scripture that had been refreshed was early divine rank. The system said, to be called a mysterious almighty person, he must be an extremely powerful existence. A martial technique that was personally modified, although the rank is low, it must have endless wonderful uses. The host is recommended to purchase 5 stars. Is that so? Jun Changshao clicked on the purchase button. After all, 10 points wasn't expensive. Ding! The host has spent 10 contribution points and obtained Self-Chop X1. It has been transferred into the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 177500. Ding! Detected that the host has purchased a spiritual energy martial technique from the shop, automatically matching it with the sect's martial technique. Chapter 98. Automatically matched with spiritual force-type martial arts. Jun Changxiao's mind moved, and opened the complete system panel. Sect name, Iron Bone Clan. Sect leader, Jun Changxiao. Sect level, 9th rate. Sect construction, level 2. Sect function, medicine refining pavilion. Sect cultivation method, Jin Jing, divine grade early stage, self/middle grade early stage. Sect member, 102500. Sect contribution points, 177,500. Sect achievement points, 0 out of 500. Sect mission, none. Sect main mission, within 100 years omitted here. Jun Changxiao touched his chin and said, this kind of martial arts can also be cultivated by disciples. While speaking, he clicked on the sect's cultivation method, chose self/martial arts, and directly copied 1,000 books. Ding! Host has spent 10 contribution points, copied self/secret manual X1000, has been transferred to the spatial ring. Jun Changxiao took out a book and read it, and said in surprise, it is indeed easy to understand. While speaking, he began to circulate according to the meridian circulation diagram on the secret manual, and in less than 10 minutes, he felt spiritual force gathering in his palm. Walking out of the main hall, he stood on the martial arts field and waved his hand in the air. Xiao, spiritual force erupted from his palm, forming a crescent shape, and swept across the ground, and finally exploded on the wooden stake that was erected a few days ago. Bang! The wooden stake exploded on the spot, and the shocked disciples all turned their heads to look. Oh my God! Su Xiaoma leaned over with his mouth open, and said in surprise, Sect leader, what kind of move is this? Jun Changxiao clapped his hands, and said with a smile, a spiritual force-type martial arts. Spiritual force-type martial arts? Su Xiaoma suddenly opened his eyes wide. In his understanding, only those that gather spiritual force to attack are called spiritual force-type martial arts, and they are very rare on the market, and the price is also extremely expensive. Here. Jun Changxiao threw a self/book, patted his shoulder and said, take it and cultivate, if you can't learn it, then destroy your own meridians. Saying that, he turned around and returned to the main hall. Su Xiaoma caught the secret manual and saw the words, I chop written on the cover. His eyes suddenly became hot and he said loudly, I will definitely succeed in practicing it. After returning to the main hall, Jun Changxiao called Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, and Tian Qi over. He gave each of them a copy of Self/ and told them to cultivate it. Spiritual energy type martial skill? Oh my God, this is not easy to find. Sect leader is too good to us. When Lu Qianqian saw the words early middle rank, she didn't have any plans to cultivate it. However, after flipping it open, she found that the incantation was easy to understand, so she began to try cultivating it. After the Iron Bone disciples learned about the spiritual force martial skill, they trained even harder because the sect leader had announced that anyone who became a martial disciple would be able to obtain it. Work hard, work even harder. The cultivation of Iron Bone was getting more and more intense, and the strength of the disciples was also getting stronger every day. As for the wandering swordsman Ma Yongning, he was released after being locked up for 5 days. However, he refused to leave the sect no matter what. Why didn't he leave? Because after being locked up for a few days, he had already been deeply impressed by Lu Wancher's cooking skills. He hugged his knife and begged for mercy on the stairs of the cafeteria. "Can you be a little more shameless?" Jun Changshao said. Ma Yongning was half lying down, with a "I'm so shameless" look. He said, "Sect leader Jun, let's write off our grudges. As long as you let me stay and eat Lady Lu's food every day, I'll do anything." Jun Changshao, damn it, if I knew earlier, I wouldn't have given him food. Sect leader. Lu Wancher blinked her eyes and said, "The cafeteria still lacks someone to wash the dishes. Why don't we let him stay and do the chores?" "Sure." Ma Yongning stood up with a whoosh, showing his rough hands, and said with incomparable pride, "This pair of hands was born to wash dishes." Jun Changshao held his chin and said, "Dudu is busy in the cafeteria every day. It's time to find some helpers to share the chores." Xiao Mu. "Yes. Pull the two assassins over as well. Let them do chores in the cafeteria. If they don't cooperate, then there's only one word: beat them up ruthlessly." "Yes." Su Xiaoma went to the prison. On the way, the corner of his mouth twitched. Those two words are long enough. Just like that, Ma Yongning and the two assassins started to work in the cafeteria. Moreover, they were willing to do it because Lu Wancher's cooking was too delicious. In ancient times, there was an unyielding king who could commit treason with a bowl of fried rice. Today, there were cold-blooded and heartless assassins who could lower their heads after eating a few dishes. The disciples were tirelessly cultivating. Jun Changshao began to think about drizzle building, saying, "The three assassins sent to kill me haven't returned yet. The other party will definitely make a move. Should he eliminate them?" No. Jun Changshao dispelled the idea. Because they came to assassinate him 3 times in a row and triggered 2 side missions, this assassin organization was just giving him rice. If he eliminated them, wouldn't it be the same as running out of food? The system said, "The host is thinking too much." Nonsense. Jun Changshao said, "If I don't think too much, how am I going to survive in the cruel falling star continent?" The Iron Bone disciples wholeheartedly immersed themselves in cultivation. Jun Changshao didn't stay idle either. He would either walk around the cultivation room or comprehend the body metamorphose scripture in the inner court. During this period of time, the Azure Sun County was in an uproar. This was because the AI clan of Huyang City announced to the public that they had newly developed a healing pill that could quickly recover from injuries. How fast? The slogan was as follows: "As long as you still have a breath of life, as long as you are reluctant to part with the mortal world, consuming a healing pill would allow you to quickly recover in a few breaths. Your waist, kidney, you, and him. Wasn't it too exaggerated?" This was the first reaction of the martial artists in the Azure Sun County when they heard the news. However, when they thought about how the AI clan had been in the business of alchemy for generations, they probably wouldn't spread rumors and ruin their hard-earned reputation. 3 days later, the AI clan will hold a healing pill auction in Huyang City. It is said that only 9 pills will be auctioned. Many clans and sects are rushing over. Let's go. Let's go and take a look. In a short period of time, cultivators from the Azure Sun County swarmed into Huyang City from all directions. The number of people was even greater than the number of spectators at the tournament. From this, one could see how alluring the healing pill was. Of course, many clans and sects were doubtful. The AI clan also understood that they had to prove the healing effects of the healing pill. Thus, when the auction started, they pulled out the young master of the Sun City's Song clan, who had been bedridden for many years. It's the second young master of the Song clan. The second genius of the Azure Sun County, who was only second to Xiao Ziji, was attacked by a low-rank 5 vicious beast while cultivating in the wilderness. In the end, his entire body was paralyzed. This is truly heartbreaking. Could it be that the AI clan invited him here to prove the healing effects of the healing pill? The second young master of the Song clan has been bedridden for so long. Can a single healing pill really cure him? Everyone discussed fervently. Everyone. AI Shang walked out and said, "In order to prove the healing effects of the AI clan's newly developed healing pill, we have reached an agreement with the Song clan's clan head yesterday. We will buy one for 30,000 silver taels. Everyone can bear witness to whether it can cure the second young master of the Song clan." As he spoke, he passed the pill to the Song clan head. Everyone turned to look at him. The Song clan head's hands trembled as he held on to the pill. Yesterday, the AI clan had repeatedly assured him that the pill was effective. It was inevitable that he would be agitated. "Father." The second young master of the Song clan was half lying on the chair. With a pale face, he said, "Let the child consume it. Even if it's poison, it doesn't matter." As a genius second only to Xiao Ziji, due to being bedridden and unable to move, he had already lost all hope. If he could move, he would have ended his life long ago. The Song clan head walked over and personally fed the pill to his son. Tears streamed down his face as he prayed for a miracle to happen. A miracle came after consuming the pill. The hands of the second young master of the Song clan trembled slightly. Then, under everyone's gaze, he straightened his back and finally, stood up with great effort. Chapter 99. I'm standing up, Father. I'm standing up, I'm standing up. The second young master of the Song clan was ecstatic. Tears gathered in his eyes and his legs started to tremble. He gradually adapted to the long-awaited support. 3 years. More than 1,000 days. He had spent it all in bed. For a martial artist, a genius with extraordinary aptitude, this was definitely a torture worse than death. Today, the second young master of the Song clan stood up. He once again felt the weight of the earth and felt that his body belonged to him. What made him even more excited was that after his meridians were reconnected, his cultivation was still at the 7th stage of the meridian opening realm. Whoosh! Whoosh! He clenched his fists and 7 circles of light surrounded him. Excitement, excitement, all kinds of emotions filled his heart. The second young master of the Song clan could no longer control himself. Tears flowed down his cheeks. A man does not cry easily. It was only because he was not too excited. Seeing his son stand up, his pale face regained some color, and the gathering of spiritual energy, the old master of the Song clan's hands trembled and his eyes were filled with tears. The martial artists in the auction hall widened their eyes in disbelief. The young master of the Song clan, who had been paralyzed in bed for 3 years, ate a healing pill and not only stood up, his cultivation was still intact. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. Ai Shang sighed in relief. At first, he was worried that the healing pill could not cure people who had been ill for a long time. Now that the young master of the Song clan had proven it, the following auction would definitely be, not bad. Very popular, super popular. All the major clans and sects witnessed the heaven-defying pill. Their eyes flashed with enthusiasm. Everyone. Ai Shang walked to the auction stage and said loudly, "The healing pill developed by the AI clan is suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators. As for the effect, I believe all of you have seen it. Let's begin the auction. Only suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators." Many martial artists' eyes were filled with regret. But thinking about it, if there was no restriction, no matter how serious the injury, it would be too terrifying. They had to buy it. The wealthy clans and sects made up their minds. Looking forward, Ai Shang said loudly, "The starting price of the first healing pill is 10,000 taels, 20,000 taels. 30,000 taels, 35,000 taels. 40,000 taels." As soon as the auction began, all the major clans and sects began to bid fiercely. As for those martial artists who did not have enough money, they could only shut up. After a round of fierce bidding, the first healing pill was won by the 6th-stream True Essence sect for a price of 100,000 taels. This was a sky-high price. The reason why the Jin Yuan sect was so desperate was not because they had too much money, but because one of their direct disciples had been seriously injured like the Song family's young master for many years. These days, all the clans and sects had a few patients. Can you guarantee that you won't get hurt for the rest of your life? When the True Origins sect won the healing pill at the price of 100,000 taels, many martial artists realized that this kind of pill that could quickly heal injuries was destined to become a luxury item that they could only sigh at. Yes, luxury goods. Because for the next 7 healing pills that were auctioned off, the families and sects that had deep financial resources and profound backgrounds fought to the death, and the final price was all 100,000 yuan. The last one was sold for 120,000 taels. A single healing pill was actually worth 12 spirit stones. This was absolutely shocking. However, after the auction ended, things didn't end there. News of the AI clan's recovery pellet swiftly healing the Song clan's second son swept through the Azure Sun County like a storm. Really? The Song clan's young master had been paralyzed for 3 years. They searched for countless famous doctors but still couldn't cure him. Is this a rumor? I went to Sun City the day before yesterday and saw the Song clan's young master playing on the streets as if he was flying. He didn't look like a patient who had been paralyzed for 3 years. If the Song clan's second young master's recovery was still doubtful, then not long after, the severely injured direct disciple of the six-stream True Essence sect came down the mountain and completely convinced them. For a time, the news of the recovery pellet caused a huge commotion and even spread to the outer counties. All the families with patients rushed to Huyang City. However, when they arrived at the AI clan, the reply they received from the AI clan's patriarch was, "This kind of miraculous healing pill is really difficult to refine. Please wait for news of the auction and come back to purchase it in the future." Many families left helplessly. The clans and sects with genius patients chose to stay in Huyang City and wait for the day when the AI clan's recovery pellet would be sold again. Then, did anyone have any evil thoughts? Yes, but they forcefully dispelled them. After all, the AI clan was an old and famous pellet family. They didn't have much power on the surface, but they had a lot of connections. Offending the AI clan was equivalent to offending the Jianghu. See you in the Jianghu, that's right. If you offend me, I'll write you to death. Clan leader. One day, Su Xiaoma said, the AI clan's patriarch is here to visit Huyang City. Jun Changshao, who was cultivating, opened his eyes and smiled, invite the AI clan's patriarch into the main hall. Yes. Su Xiaoma left. Jun Changshao touched his nose out of habit and said, looks like the AI clan's patriarch has already sold the recovery pellet. AI Shang's visit was expected, but he didn't expect him to come in just a few days. In the main hall of the sect, Jun Changshao walked out and cupped his hands. The AI clan's patriarch has come to visit. Your presence brings light to my iron-boned sect. As the leader of a sect, there was no lack of pleasantries, let alone a business partner. AI Shang hurriedly got up and cupped his hands in greeting. I haven't seen you for a few days, but clan leader Jun's cultivation has improved a lot. After some pleasantries, he went straight to the point. Clan leader Jun, the 9 recovery pellets have been sold. How much? 850,000 taels. Clan leader Jun's face looked calm, but he was roaring in his heart. My mother must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. I only asked for 10,000 taels. Clan leader Jun Ai Shang placed a stack of banknotes on the table and smiled. This is 200,000 taels. Consider it a bonus. Please accept it. He's worthy of being called a businessman, he's very particular. Jun Changshao waved his hand and put the banknotes into his space ring. He smiled and said, I didn't find the wrong long-term partner. Long-term partner? AI Shang was overjoyed. Clan leader Jun, could it be that you still have recovery pellets? Jun Changshao rested his chin on his hand and smiled. Isn't this the reason why the AI clan's patriarch came to visit? AI Shang was quite embarrassed when his thoughts were pointed out, but he still cupped his hands and said, it's my honor and the AI clan's honor to be able to obtain clan leader Jun's trust. As a businessman, money was the most important thing. Recovery pellets could bring in huge profits, so he naturally spared no effort in flattering clan leader Jun Changshao said, "The AI clan's patriarch's words are too serious. You and I are now the most sincere partners." He put the bottle of recovery pellets on the table and said, "I still have 10 recovery pellets here. The AI clan's patriarch can take them and sell them. As for the price, give me 1 million taels." AI Shang said straightforwardly. Jun Changshao heard this and swallowed back the 500,000 taels. He despised himself intensely in his heart. "Jun Changshao, look at yourself," he said straightforwardly. "Deal." The AI clan's patriarch hurriedly took out 1 million taels of banknotes and a contract. After signing the contract, the deal was done. But before leaving, Jun Changshao reminded him, "AI clan's patriarch, I don't want to show my face in public. That's why I'm cooperating with the AI clan. I hope you can understand." I understand. Understand what? He understood that the Iron Bone clan's patriarch didn't want others to know that this heaven-defying recovery pellet was made by him. After the AI clan's patriarch left, Li Qingyang came to see him and said, "Clan leader, when will Junior Marshal Brother Ye's collapsed room be rebuilt?" Jun Changshao casually threw a stack of banknotes and said, "Rebuild my ass. Just rebuild the inner courtyard according to the Imperial Palace's forbidden grounds. Also, expand the outer courtyard." Li Qingyang held the thick stack of banknotes and counted them slightly. He exclaimed, 100,000 taels. Chapter 100. Li Qingyang, who was holding 100,000 taels of silver, was stunned on the spot. Coming from a family, he did not have much concept of money, but he knew that this amount was huge. Using it to rebuild the Iron Bone could only be said to be extravagant. Li Qingyang hurried back to his room, picked up a brush and ink, and started to draft the reconstruction plan. The inner yard needed to be rebuilt, and the outer yard needed to be expanded. This was a huge project, and he had to seriously plan it. After a night of designing, the sketch was done. The Iron Bone main hall in the outer yard did not change, and it was still at the northernmost side. The rest of the buildings were all changed. The training field was enlarged, and more buildings were added. The inner yard also changed a lot. Not only did they add greenery, but they also added a lot of rooms, enough to accommodate 1,000 disciples. Of course, Li Qingyang also considered Lu Wancher, and specially divided the vegetable field and the livestock pen. With enough funds, this reconstruction was definitely a bold and decisive one. Once it was completed, it would be a brand new Iron Bone Sect. Not bad. After looking at the sketch, Jun Changshao was very satisfied. Li Qingyang pointed at a few blank areas on the sketch, and said, "I've decided to build a wing here first. After it's completed, everyone can move in first, and then we can rebuild the other areas. This way, we won't have to live in the outer yard." Jun Chang smiled and said, "You've considered everything thoroughly." He gave the task of rebuilding the sect to Li Qingyang because he valued his steady and cautious personality. Simply put, he was suitable to be the head butler. Li Qingyang would definitely be the internal affairs elder if he wanted to divide the elders' positions. "Sect Master, when will we start the reconstruction?" 3 days later. "Yes." Li Qingyang left. Jun Changshao touched his chin and said, "After the reconstruction of the sect is completed, we'll open the mountain gate to recruit disciples. Once we have 500 people, we'll trigger the sect mission." When the sect was upgraded to level 2, he did not recruit disciples immediately because he wanted to strengthen this batch of disciples first. AI Shang took 10 beginner healing pills and returned to the AI family. However, they were not in a hurry to auction it off. Instead, they were waiting for the news to spread so that more forces would know about it. Previously, he had sold 9 healing pills for 850,000. Now, he had spent 1 million to buy 10 from Jun Changshao. No matter how he looked at it, it seemed like a loss. Otherwise. AI Shang had absolute confidence that the price of the 10 recovery pellets would exceed 1 million taels in the second auction. If a businessman couldn't raise the price of a heaven-defying pill to a higher price, then he wouldn't be worthy of the word businessman. Of course. At the same time, Ai Shang was also pondering. If the news of the healing pills were to spread, it would alarm the major powers and sections. How would he explain himself? 3 days later, a large number of craftsmen entered the iron bone factory and began to expand the inner courtyard. Because it was built in another area, it did not affect the disciples' residence and rest. They could continue to cultivate as usual. Sect leader. One day, Li Qingyang came to report, last night, another 9 disciples opened their 10th meridian. Other than junior brother Xiao, junior brother Yi, and junior sister Lu, the other disciples have all reached the 10th stage of the meridian opening realm. Not bad, not bad. Jun Changshao said with satisfaction. Calculating the time, this batch of disciples had just been recruited for 2 months. To reach the 10th stage from the 2nd or 3rd stage was quite fast. Let them continue to work hard. Those who break through to the martial disciple realm will be given the self/manual, Jun Changshao said. Yes. Li Qingyang left. Jun Changshao stood up and went to the training room. Xiao Ziji was in the muscle building room. There were still 2 hours left. Creak. At this moment, the door of another muscle building room opened. Yi Xingchen, who had been beaten black and blue, slid out and panted heavily. Ever since his rune collapsed, he had been cultivating in the training room. His strength was not inferior to Xiao Ziji's. Needless to say, he had made great progress. His originally weak body had become much stronger. As for his realm, he had broken through from the 1st stage to the 3rd stage. His explosive strength had reached 800 jin. Normally, with Yi Xingchen's physical aptitude, it would be considered good if he could exert 400 jin. The extra 400 jin was due to the I Jin Jing, the Taishen Sutra, the muscle building room, and the body shaping pill. Jun Changshao could also see that he had changed a lot during this time, so he smiled and said, "Now, do you still feel wronged by joining the Iron Bone sect?" Yi Xingchen was silent. Previously, he must have been brooding over the fact that he was forced to join the Iron Bone sect despite being a reborn martial emperor. Now, he was. That's right, it was really good. Schwa. Jun Changshao went into the muscle building room. After 2 hours of sculpting, Xiao Ziji was waving the testing machine again and again. The strength on it was constantly changing. 3,000 jin. 3,200 jin, bang. When the last punch was thrown, the strength was fixed at 2,500 jin. Without opening his meridians, just by tempering his body, his strength had reached the level of a 3rd stage martial disciple. It was really inconceivable. However, Xiao Ziji did not feel happy at all. Instead, he lowered his arms in dejection. Jun Changshao walked over and said, "What are you thinking about?" "Sect Master, I..." Xiao Ziji paused and said bitterly, "During this period of cultivation, my body has reached its limit. It will be very difficult for it to improve." Jun Changshao said, "A martial artist's true strength lies not only in their body, but also in many other aspects, such as weapons and equipment. Come with me." He brought Xiao Ziji to the back of the mountain and took out the QBU-88 sniper rifle. He placed it on the ground and said, "Try to fire a shot." "Can I?" Xiao Ziji was stunned. Jun Changshao said, "If your body can handle it, this sniper rifle is yours." The system reminded, although this disciple can use the sniper rifle, the magically modified 8x scope function can only be triggered by the host. So fucked up. Jun Changshao frowned. In his mind, Xiao Ziji could not open his meridians and could not condense his spirit energy. He would train him to be a sniper. After all, his body was strong, so it should not be a problem for him to bear the recoil. But now, the magically modified 8x scope, self-aiming, X-ray vision, and other functions could not be triggered by this disciple. How could he achieve 100% accuracy? Phew! Xiao Ziji let out a long sigh of relief. He walked to the front of the QBU-88 sniper rifle, obviously wanting to try it out. Jun Changshao personally taught him how to hold the gun, and how to get close to the 8x scope. He also explained the range, firing speed, and wind speed. He said, "Do you understand?" "Understood. That small rock a few hundred feet in front of you, break it." As he spoke, Jun Changshao had already moved far away, afraid that the recoil from the shot would implicate him. Shwa! Xiao Ziji crouched down, holding the gun with one hand. The end of the gun was pressed against his shoulder. One of his eyes leaned against the lens, and after checking, he immediately pulled the trigger. Bang! The muzzle spat out fire. Like a cannonball, a stream of light shot out. It accurately hit a small rock more than 500 meters away, and blew it to pieces. So accurate? Jun Changshao opened his eyes wide. When he retracted his gaze and looked at Xiao Ziji, he found that the gun was still there, and the ground under the support was sunken. That guy had disappeared into thin air. Where is he? Where is he? Sect. Sect Master. More than 10 meters behind him, Xiao Ziji was paralyzed on a tree branch. His mouth was foaming, and he weakly said, "Disciple. Disciple is here." Chapter 101. The recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle is really strong. Xiao Ziji fired a shot. Even with the support of his leg, he was still sent flying for more than 10 meters. However, there were two things that surprised Jun Changshao. First, this kid was very accurate. Second, after resting for a while, he stood up as if nothing had happened. My cultivation is higher than his, but I had to rest for most of the night before I could adjust. The system explained, that's because the host fired 3 shots in a row. The recoil is very strong, but he only fired 1 shot. So that's how it is. Jun Changshao suddenly realized. No matter what, Xiao Ziji's shooting talent and his strong body made him even more determined to train him into a sniper. "I've sinned." Jun Changshao said, "This Type 88 sniper rifle is yours. When you have time, try to get a feel for it." "Yes." Xiao Ziji picked up the gun. Although he remembered the recoil and felt a chill down his spine, but when he saw the broken stone, his eyes were burning. Men love guns, it is their nature. Even men from another world are no exception. Following this, Xiao Ziji would take out 2 hours every day to lie on the grass, stones, and trees in the back mountain. One of his eyes would lean on the lens, aiming at something in the distance. He did not fire the gun because the head said that there were only 6 bullets left in the gun. In order to better adapt to the recoil, Xiao Ziji would also stand on the martial arts field and let his senior brothers hit him with thick logs. "Junior brother, are you ready?" "Ta!" Xiao Ziji stepped forward, his upper body exposed. He patted his right shoulder where the gun was and said, "Senior brothers, come. Go!" Su Xiaoma ordered. 10 disciples holding the logs fiercely hit him, but with a bang sound, he was sent flying. The muscle sculpting machine is based on science to refine the body and maximize the muscle enhancement. This method is quite extreme. Shwa! Xiao Ziji climbed up and returned to his previous position. He once again got into a horse stance and endured the pain, again. Boom! Again! Boom! Again! Again! On the steps of the main hall, as he watched Xiao Ziji fall and stand up again and again, Li Qingyang said, "Sect Master, junior brother Xiao wants to become stronger too much." Jun Changshao leaned his arms against the stone railing and said, "Qingyang, although your junior brother has become the champion of the sect's martial arts competition and proved himself with his strength, he still has to surpass his former fiancée." Li Qingyang said in a deep voice, "Sect leader, as far as I know, junior martial brother Zhao's fiancée is called Murong Xian. She is a direct descendant of the Murong clan, one of the 4 great clans of Tianhai County." Tianhai County? Jun Changshao had a vague impression of it. It seemed to be a county with a large population. He asked, Is the Murong family very strong? Li Qingyang was silent for a while, then said, if we were to calculate according to the ranking of the sects, the Murong family of Tianhai County is at least not weaker than the Tsang Mountain sect. Jun Changshao said in surprise, so strong? Li Qingyang said, Murong Xian has the best spiritual root. She was accepted as a direct disciple by the 11th elder of the second-rate sect, the Lily Holy sect. Jun Changshao didn't care about the best spiritual root. What he cared about was the Lily Holy sect. This name was really meaningful. He joked, is there a gay sect? Gay sect? Li Qingyang scratched his head and said, I have never heard of it. Jun Changshao went back to the topic and said, a family comparable to a fifth-rate sect, and a disciple of a second-rate sect. This Murong Xian is really not simple. However, he touched his chin and said, since she is so outstanding, why is she engaged to Zueji? They were engaged before they were born. Li Qingyang said. Jun Changshao said, no wonder. Looking at Xiao Ziji who was training, he murmured, it will be very difficult for my disciple to surpass the woman who abandoned him. Only difficult is challenging. Only then can he prove his ability to train his disciple. Murong Xian of the Murong family, just you wait. One day, I will make you understand how stupid it was to break the engagement. The craftsmen in the inner courtyard were building in full swing. The disciples were also cultivating. 7 days passed peacefully. Iron Bone welcomed a historic moment. Except for Xiao Ziji, Lu Wancher, and Yixingchen, all the other disciples broke through to the 12th stage. Tian Qi, Li Fei, Zhang Wei, and the others became martial disciples. The number of disciples increased from 5 to 10. Under normal circumstances, a ninth-rate sect having 3 to 5 martial disciples was not bad. Iron Bone had 10, which was undoubtedly very powerful. Strange. Jun Changshao opened the data panel and saw that the sect was still a ninth-rate sect. He was puzzled and said, the sect has 9 martial disciples, and the rest are all at the 12th stage. Why haven't they upgraded? The system said, the promotion of the sect is not decided by the system. It needs to be certified by the relevant department of the Falling Star continent. Which department? You can ask the disciples. Jun Changshao called Li Qingyang over. Li Qingyang said, sect leader, as far as I know, if you want the sect to enter the 8th rate, you need to go to the sect certification hall to be certified. Sect certification hall? Where is it? Qingyang City. What kind of certification is it? Li Qingyang thought for a while and said uncertainly, it seems to be bringing disciples who meet the requirements to be certified. So troublesome. I'm too lazy to go. Jun Changshao dismissed the idea of going for certification. In his opinion, as long as the sect was strong, it didn't matter if it was considered a ninth-rate sect. In the weeds at the back of the mountain, Xiao Ziji was covered in weeds. Only his eyes were exposed. He was lying motionless. Shwa! After a long time, a relatively large wild boar walked out about 600 meters ahead. Xiao Ziji lowered his head slightly. One of his eyes was on the lens. He locked onto the wild boar's head and pulled the trigger. Bang! The gunshot rang out. Xiao Ziji held the gun and was knocked back 2 meters. As for the wild boar, its head was accurately shot and its body fell to the ground. Su Xiaoma ran over and lifted it up. Junior brother Xiao, your marksmanship is really accurate. Who? Xiao Ziji stood up. He held the gun in one hand and rubbed his numb right shoulder with the other. A bright smile appeared on his face. After 7 days of training in the molding room and extreme body tempering, he was no longer hanging from a tree branch because of the recoil like the first time he fired the gun. Not bad, not bad. Jun Changshao clapped his hands and walked out. Xiao Ziji lay motionless on the ground for 4 hours. When the prey appeared, he quickly shot it in the head. He was definitely a natural sniper. This was the advantage of being a genius. Even if he was not good in martial arts, he could still perform well in other things. I have sinned. Jun Changshao said, "When the sentry tower is built, the heavy responsibility of protecting the sect will be handed over to you." This guy gave the Type 88 sniper rifle to Xiao Ziji and let him become a sniper. He hoped that he could protect the sect and not let others get close. Although there was a sect protection array, it was still 1 contribution point per day. It was impossible to burn it over a long period of time. If a sniper was placed at the sentry tower, he could instantly kill any suspicious person or assassin. That would be very comfortable. Yes, Xiao Ziji said. But, he said weakly, "Sect leader, there are only 5 bullets left." Jun Changshao held his chin and said, "Yes, there are a little less bullets. We have to go to Qingyang City to buy some cores." Qingyang. Inform the disciples who broke through to Martial Disciple to follow me to Qingyang City's Sect Certification Center tomorrow. Since he was going to Qingyang City, he had to get certified on the way. Chapter 102. The next day, Jun Changshao brought Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, and the others to Green Sun City. Xiao Ziji also followed along. The Type 88 sniper rifle on his back was wrapped in black cloth, giving off a mysterious feeling. Snipers have to pay attention to their surroundings at all times. You can't relax at all. Jun Changshao said. Xiao Ziji was on high alert all the way. Even if there was a wild rabbit running through the grass, he would be able to catch it immediately. He had already accepted the position of a sniper, but he lacked bullets for shooting practice. Talent was important, but to be able to not miss a single shot, he still needed bullets to feel. A few hours later, the group arrived at Green Sun City. As soon as they entered, they attracted the attention of the people in the city. The contempt and ridicule in their eyes were naturally replaced by respect and reverence. During this period of time, Iron Bone's performance had already been recognized. Just as Jun Changshao said, ordinary people like to follow the trend. When you were weak, they would want to kick you. When you were strong, they would want to kneel down and lick your boots. Where is the sect certification? In the south of the city. Walking along the wide street to the south of the city, Jun Changshao brought his disciples to a building with the word Sect Certification Hall. Why is Iron Bone here? Are they going to get their sect certified? Although sect leader Jun defeated Longblade sect leader in the grievance arena, his personal strength is not enough. His disciples have to be strong to pass the certification. The Sect Certification Hall has a cooperative relationship with the 100 Races Alliance. Iron Bone has left the alliance, so it will be difficult for them to get certified. Hearing the discussions of the passers-by, Jun Changshao frowned and thought, the certification hall has a cooperative relationship with the 100 Races Alliance. They will definitely make things difficult for them. As expected. After entering the certification hall and reporting their sect's name, the deacon said indifferently, according to the sect certification rules, you must show the 100 Races Alliance's certificate to be certified. Pa Su Xiaoma slammed the table and said angrily, we're already here, why don't you just verify it? Why do you still need a certificate? The deacon said indifferently, this is the sect certification hall, the fair and just authority of the Starfall continent. Sect Master Jun, please tell your disciples to be more respectful. Fair and just. If Jun Changshao didn't care about his status as the sect leader, he would have already taken out the records of the Grand Historian and smashed him in the face. Can't it be verified without a certificate? He asked calmly. The deacon said indifferently, if there is a proof of recommendation from a fifth-rate sect or above, it can also be verified. Of course, a low-level sect like Iron Bone that hasn't even joined the 100 Races Alliance wouldn't be recommended by a major sect, so it's best that you return to where you came from. Fuck. Li Fei couldn't help but slap the table and say, if you fucking say inferior again, do you believe that I won't kick you to death? Most of the disciples who joined the Iron Bone sect came from poor backgrounds, except for a few who had some status. They were so angry that they were humiliated, especially by their own sect, that they would definitely swear. The deacon cupped his hands and sneered, what? Iron Bone's sect wants to cause trouble in the certification hall. Jun Changshao signaled the angry disciples to calm down and said, I would like to ask, what are the requirements to be verified as an 8th-rate sect? The deacon glanced at the Iron Bone sect disciples who thought they were a bunch of country bumpkins and said indifferently, 5 martial disciples and 5 channel opening stage 12 disciples. Jun Changshao understood and said, goodbye. Watching the Iron Bone sect disciples leave, the deacon said in disdain, he left the 100 Sects Alliance and still wants to be verified. Is this guy stupid? Sect Master, that guy is purposely making things difficult for Iron Bone. Su Xiaoma gritted his teeth and said as they walked out of the certification hall. If he doesn't want to verify, then so be it. He even fucking humiliated us. Tian Qi was so angry that his body was trembling. Li Qingyang said calmly, the certification hall is related to the 100 Sects Alliance. If we want to raise the level of our sect, we can only do it in another province. It doesn't matter. Jun Changshao said. They came to Green Sun City to buy bullets, so the certification was just on the way. Since the other party was purposely making things difficult, they could just not verify it. After all, it was enough for the sect to qualify as an 8th-rate sect. Sect Master Jun. At this moment, a deep and vigorous voice came from afar. Jun Changshao turned around and looked. He said in shock, Elder Ma. That's right. The person who came was Zhang Shan Sect's Elder Ma. From the aura he emitted, it was obvious that he had broken through to Wuzong. He had been stuck at the peak of Martial Master for a long time. 2 months ago, Jun Changshao gave him some guidance, allowing him to finally break through. Elder Ma stopped in front of Jun Changshao and cupped his hands in gratitude. Thanks to Sect Master Jun's guidance, this old man was able to enter Wuzong. Wuzong? Li Qingyang and the others' eyes were filled with envy and respect. In Qingyang County, those who had reached the level of Martial Master were the top experts. Wuzong was undoubtedly an existence that they looked up to. Jun Changshao said modestly, Elder Ma is confused by the situation. As long as you solve the puzzle, even without Jun, you can easily enter a higher level. Elder Ma's eyes were filled with admiration. When the 100 Sect recruited him, he felt that this kid was full of nonsense. Now it seemed that he was a humble little guy. What's wrong? Looking at the sect certification hall, Elder Ma said, Sect Master Jun wants to certify the sect's level? That's right. Jun Changshao said. Elder Ma glanced at the disciples of Iron Bone behind him. Seeing the aura they exuded, he cupped his hands and smiled, congratulations on your sect's promotion to the 8th rate. Jun Changshao shook his head and said helplessly, if they don't certify, what's there to celebrate? Not certifying? Elder Ma was surprised, what do you mean? The sect certification hall was the authority of the Falling Star continent. Any sect could be certified. It was his first time hearing that they didn't certify. Jun Changshao told him everything. After Elder Ma heard, he said in a deep voice, the 100 Sect Alliance is just a private organization. To think that they can get the sect certification hall to certify, this is the biggest joke in the world. Sect Master Jun, let's go. He made an inviting gesture and said, this old man will bring your sect to be certified. Jun Changshao brought his disciples into the hall again. The deacon stood up and said with a black face, Sect Master Jun, why are you here again? To certify the sect. Jun Changshao said. The deacon rolled his eyes and said in a bad mood, I've already said it clearly. If you want to be certified, you either need to show the 100 Sect Alliance's certification or have a 5th rate, Deacon Zhao. Before he finished, he was interrupted by Elder Ma who walked in, I represent the Blue Mountain Sect to recommend the Iron Bone clan. This should be in accordance with the certification rules, right? Elder Ma. Seeing the Blue Mountain Sect elder walk in, Deacon Zhao hurriedly walked out of the counter and smiled politely, how come you have time to come to the certification hall? His face changed so quickly. Su Xiaoma, Tian Qi, and the others cast disdainful glances at this kind of obsequious person. Elder Ma said indifferently, Deacon Zhao, if I remember correctly, you've been a deacon for 10 years. Yes, yes. Deacon Zhao smiled, exactly 10 years. Elder Ma's eyes turned cold. Deacon Zhao is also a senior. I would like to ask, if the certification hall authorized the certification hall to provide a local private organization certification? This. Deacon Zhao's face changed. He only represented the Azure Sun County's Sect certification hall. Working with the 100 Sect Alliance to gain benefits was a personal action. The higher-ups definitely didn't know. Jun Changshao said, hearing Elder Ma's words, I can't help but suspect that Deacon Zhao and the 100 Sect Alliance have some dirty deal. Chapter 103. Deacon Zhao's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He no longer had the arrogance and coldness from before. If news of him making an agreement with the 100 Sect Alliance and receiving benefits were to spread to the headquarters, losing his deacon position would be a small matter, but being held accountable would be a big matter. Deacon Zhao quickly realized that the arrival of the Grey Mountain Sect Elder had something to do with Jun Changshao, so he hurriedly smiled. Sect Leader Jun, this Zhao will now certify you an iron bone. No, no, no. Jun Changshao said, my iron bone is only a low-grade sect. We don't have the 100 Sect Alliance's certification. How can we be qualified to certify a sect? Deacon Zhao's face turned ugly as if he had eaten a fly. Elder Ma coldly said, as the person in charge of the Sect Certification Center, shouldn't you abide by the rules of fairness? You need the 100 Sect Alliance to provide a certification. This is too absurd. The last 5 words were sonorous and forceful, shaking Deacon Zhao's heart to the point that his legs started to spin. This was an elder of the 5 flowing Grey Mountain Sect, not to mention the headquarters. Even if it was a branch, he would definitely end up in a miserable state. Seeing this fellow's pale face, Jun Changshao thought to himself, if I don't step on you like a dog, how can I face my angry disciples? Paw! Suddenly, Deacon Zhao raised his hand and really slapped his own face, smiling flatteringly. Sect Leader Jun, my head was squashed by the door just now. Please be magnanimous and don't lower yourself to my level. This works too. Li Qingyang and the rest's mouths twitched. If he was still as arrogant as before, perhaps they would respect him a little, but now that he had turned into a dog wagging its tail, it was disgusting to look at him. Deacon Zhao, you're too gentle. Jun Changshao lightly said. Paw! Deacon Zhao slapped his own face again, this time with a lot of strength. A bright red palm print appeared on the right side of his face. He endured the burning pain and forced himself to smile. Sect Master Jun, are you satisfied now? Not satisfied. Jun Changshao replied. Paw! Paw! Deacon Zhao was also a ruthless person. He slapped both sides of his face, and because he used too much strength, his nose started to bleed. Sect Leader Jun, his face was slightly sinister as he smiled and said, Are you satisfied? Since the other party was fighting with such sincerity, Jun Changshao didn't want to go against him. So, he said indifferently, let's go through the procedure and get certified. Please, please. Deacon Zhao endured the pain, bringing him and the rest of the Iron Bone disciples to the back of the sect in the middle of the courtyard in the middle of the Sect Alliance. Sect Master Jun, these are the cultivation testing stones. Please verify them one by one. If you meet the requirements, your sect can be upgraded. What requirements? 5 disciples have reached a strength value of more than 2,300 gene. Oh. Jun Changshao understood. This so-called cultivation testing stone was actually the same as the strength testing machine sold in the store. Li Fei, go and take the test. Sect Li Fei was the first to walk over. He scratched his head and asked, Sect Leader, should we use our fists or our feet? Deacon de deacon. Deacon de deacon. Understood. Li Fei raised his foot and suddenly kicked over. This action was similar to playing a happy football. Boom, he kicked the testing stone. Elder Ma, who had followed along, inwardly commented, his chassis is solid and he didn't use any spiritual power. He should have trained hard. The strength of this kick must have reached the required level, Ka. Suddenly, he stopped thinking and a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. This was because a number was gradually appearing on the testing stone. The content was 3,000 genes. This. Deacon Zhao was also dumbfounded. As the person in charge of the Sect certification hall in Qingyang City, he had seen many disciples test their strength, but this was the first time he had seen someone who could kick a force of 3,000 gene with just his physical body. AI. Li Fei shook his head. I'm not used to it. Little Mo, yes. Su Xiaomo walked up and gave a kick as well, exerting a force of 3,500 kilograms. Then, he shrugged and said helplessly, as expected, I'm not used to it. The corners of Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao's mouths twitched. The two disciples each gave a kick. The purest physical strength was comparable to a second-grade martial disciple. This was simply inconceivable. Next up was Lu Qianshan. She gently hit the testing stone with her jade-like palm, displaying a force of 2,000 genes. It was obvious that she didn't use her full strength. Li Qingyang walked up and poured spiritual power into his fist. He suddenly punched the testing stone, and the strength displayed was 5,000 genes. Boom! Tian Qi also punched the testing stone. He didn't use any spiritual power, and the force of his punch was 3,200 genes. Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao's eyes opened wider and wider. These Iron Bone disciples were only first-grade martial disciples, but each of them could exert a force of more than 3,000 genes. This was simply terrifying. Deacon Zhao. Jun Changshao said, our 5 disciples all meet the requirements. Can we be certified as an 8th-rate sect? Deacon Zhao came back to his senses and hurriedly said politely, according to the certification rules, your sect still needs 5 disciples who have reached the 12th stage of the channel opening realm. Oh. Jun Changshao waved his hand. Zhang Wei and the other 3 disciples who had broken through to the martial disciple realm were tested in order. The result was that without exception, all of them had a strength of more than 3,000 genes. Other than Lu Qianshan and Li Qingyang, the other Iron Bone disciples were all middle-grade spiritual roots. Naturally, it was also because of their training and the body-shaping pill that they were able to produce a strength value that was close to the standard. Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao felt a little dizzy. A few disciples who could produce a strength value of a second-grade martial disciple could be explained by innate divine power. So many disciples produced a strength value of 3,000 genes. Could it be that they all had innate divine power? It wasn't innate, but acquired. Sect leader Jun Elder Ma looked at Xiao Ziji and said, is your disciple not going to be tested? Jun Changshao said, Zui Ji, go up and punch for Elder Ma to see. Yes. Xiao Ziji handed the sniper rifle wrapped in cloth to Su Xiaomu. He stepped in front of the testing stone, took a deep breath, and punched it. His strength value was 4,600 genes. Elder Ma's eyes widened and his mouth gaped open. His eyes were filled with shock. This kid's body didn't emit any spiritual energy. He was able to produce a strength value of 5,000 genes with pure physical strength. This was absolutely terrifying. Zueji. Deacon Zhao thought of something and said in surprise, could it be that he Xiao Ziji, the Xiao family's direct descendant who won the martial arts competition? Jun Changshao said indifferently, please remove the Xiao family's direct descendant and change it to Iron Bone disciples. Thank you. Understood, understood. Deacon Zhao hurriedly said. Elder Ma exclaimed, so he's the champion of the martial arts competition that just ended. No wonder he's so strong. He had also heard about the Iron Bone disciples monopolizing the top 4 spots in the martial arts competition in Song Mountain Sect. He had even discussed it with the sect leader and the higher-ups. Sect leader Jun Elder Ma cupped his hands and said, these people have all become dragons among men under your guidance. This was the truth and not flattery. After all, a group of disciples with average aptitudes could be trained to such a level by the Iron Bone sect leader. Even Song Mountain sect would find it difficult to do so. Not only Tsang Mountain Sect, but even if it was a higher-level sect, it would be impossible to train a group of people with average aptitudes to become first-grade martial disciples and have a higher level of combat strength. Of course, the higher-level sects wouldn't accept them because it was a complete waste of time and resources. Jun Changshao thought differently. He wanted to train these disciples who were regarded as trash in the eyes of the higher-level sects, because it was very challenging. Chapter 104. The requirement to become an 8th-rate sect was to have 5 martial disciples and 5 12th-stage channel opening cultivators. The disciples brought by Jun Changshao, including Xiao Ziji, who had no cultivation, all displayed strength that far exceeded the minimum requirement. Therefore, passing the certification was a smooth affair. Sect Master Jun, on the counter, Attendant Xiao handed over a token with the word 8 engraved on it and said with a smile, "Congratulations to your sect for becoming an 8th-rate sect." Even if there were no elders of Tsang Mountain Sect present, he would still act respectfully. After all, the strength displayed by the group of disciples was too valiant. Iron Bone's future was limitless. Ding! Congratulations to the host for upgrading the sect to an 8th-rate sect. The reward is 100 achievement points and 200 contribution points. Ding! Sect achievement points, 100500. Ding! Sect contribution points, 355500. Damn! When the sect was upgraded, it even gave achievement points and contribution points. Jun Changshao was pleasantly surprised. Actually, when he first heard that a sect needed to be certified, he had rejected it. Now that he received achievement points and contribution points, he felt great and wonderful. The system said, the higher the sect's grade, the higher the reward. Jun Changshao's eyes burned with passion and said, "Attendant Xiao, what are the requirements for upgrading from an 8th-rate sect to a 7th-rate sect?" Attendant Xiao hurriedly said, "Sect master needs to become a martial master. The number of disciples must be at least 50 martial disciples and 500 12th-stage channel opening cultivators." That many? Jun Changshao frowned. The upper limit of a sect's disciples was only 500. It seemed that in order to upgrade to a 7th-rate sect, not only did he need to raise the cultivation of all the disciples, he also needed to upgrade the sect to a 3rd-rate sect. A 9th-rate sect on the system panel changed to an 8th-rate sect. Sect Master Jun received 100 achievement points and 200 contribution points. He walked out of the certification hall in a good mood. 8th-rate sect token. Heavens, Iron Bone actually upgraded. Unbelievable, unbelievable. When the passers-by saw the 8th-rate sect token hanging on Jun Changshao's waist, their eyes were filled with shock. More than 2 months ago, Iron Bone's sect was just an obscure trash sect in the eyes of the world. The first-generation sect leader was even beheaded because he went to a brothel and became a laughingstock. In just a few short days, under the leadership of the second-generation sect master, not only did the sect rapidly expand, it even went from the 9th rate to the 8th rate. Many people felt that this was unreal, as if they were dreaming. Sect Master Jun. The elder of the Tsang Mountain sect cupped his hands and said, "This Ma still has things to deal with. If you have time in the future, please come to my Tsang Mountain sect for a chat." It sounded like polite words, but many cultivators were envious. After all, not everyone was qualified to hear such polite words from a 5th-rate sect's elder. Jun Changshao cupped his hands and said, "When I have time, I will definitely pay a visit to Tsang Mountain sect. Goodbye." Goodbye. Elder Ma left, but on the way, he thought to himself, to be able to bring a group of ordinary youths to such a stage, this child is really not simple. If we meet again in the future, this Iron Bone clan will probably become even stronger. For a group of disciples to be able to produce such a terrifying strength value, Elder Ma would definitely not look down on them. After the sect certification, Jun Changshao brought his disciples to the market and entered a crystal core shop, starting to choose crystal cores of various grades. Considering that the higher the grade of the crystal core, the greater the recoil of the bullet, he focused his attention on crystal cores of the 4th or 5th grade. After a round of selection, Jun Changshao chose 2 crystal cores of the 7th grade and 50 crystal cores of the 5th grade, which were similar to the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core. The shopkeeper smiled and said, "Sect Master Jun, 2 crystal cores of the 7th grade are 20,000 taels, 50 crystal cores of the 5th grade are 150,000 taels. The total is 170,000 taels. Oh my god, so expensive?" The disciples who followed him in opened their eyes wide. 170,000 taels, to them, they would never dream of it. Jun Changshao took out banknotes and slammed them on the counter, saying, "I'll buy it." Seeing so much money, the Iron Bone disciple felt dizzy and secretly said, "Our sect master is really rich." After buying the pills, Jun Changshao went to the medicine market again. In the end, he only found a few healing pills and brought his disciples back to the sect. On the way, he unloaded the bullets of the Type 88 sniper rifle and reloaded them into the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core. He used the crystal cores of the 5th grade to reload 10 bullets. Arriving at a deserted place, Jun Changshao pointed at the hornet's nest hanging on the tree in front of him and said, "Xin Ji, shoot it down." "Yes." Xiao Ziji found a spot, propped up a stand, and then used the gun to calibrate the target. In the process, Li Qingyang and the others had already retreated more than 10 meters away. Sect Master Jun also retreated and secretly said, "Replacing the 7th grade with a 5th grade, the recoil shouldn't be too big." Peng, while thinking, Xiao Ziji, after calibrating, decisively pulled the trigger. The muzzle of the gun spat out a stream of light, and then accurately shattered the hornet's nest. From the sound of the gunshot and the stream of light, it was obviously inferior to the condensed bullet of the 7th grade. Definitely. The higher the level of the crystal core, the stronger the condensed bullet. Although the power was much weaker, the recoil only shook Xiao Ziji half a meter away, and his shoulder only felt a slight numbness. Lu Qianqian said indifferently, "The power of this attack, even a 7th or 8th grade martial disciple with their spirit power fully activated might not be able to withstand it." "Is that so?" Jun Changshao smiled with satisfaction, "Not bad, not bad." Xiao Ziji stood up, rubbed his shoulders, and grinned, "Sect Master, this disciple should be fine after a while to adapt." Saying this, his smile suddenly froze. "What's wrong?" Jun Changshao and the other disciples followed his gaze. They saw a group of hornets gathered at the place where the hornet's nest was broken. Their bodies flashed with red light, and there was a buzzing sound. "Not good." Li Qingyang said in shock, "It's the poisonous hornet." Poisonous hornet. A small group of ferocious beasts. Although their level was low, their group attack power was very strong. Not to mention a martial disciple, even a martial master might not dare to provoke them. Li Qingyang had just opened his mouth when Sect Master Jun had already taken a big step forward, and shouted, "Why are you still standing there foolishly? Run!" Swish! Swish! The disciples hurriedly followed in a panic. Buzz buzz! The hornet swarm suddenly rushed over. Their stingers flashed, and their small eyes were filled with anger. "Aya!" Tian Qi screamed, "My butt!" "Ah!" Li Fei was chased by dozens of hornets. He hugged his head and fled, and even released his spirit power to isolate the attack. In the end, he was still hit by the omnipresent stingers. Su Xiaoma ran the fastest. However, the hornets that flew over could shoot their stingers, and in an instant, they pierced his butt, and there was a scream of "Ah!" Dusk came. The group returned to the sect. Except for Lu Qianqian, the other disciples were all stung by the hornets. Especially Xiao Ziji. His lips were stung, and were swollen like 2 sausages. Jun Changshao was also stung, and it was on his eyelids. The bulging bumps almost squeezed his eyes into a line. "Sect Master." Li Qingyang covered his stung butt, and collapsed. Next time, don't let junior brother Xiao hit the hornet's nest." Chapter 105. With enough crystal cores, Xiao Ziji returned to the sect and spent more time practicing his marksmanship. He even hid in the bushes at the back of the mountain all night, waiting for animals to appear at night. Shooting stationary targets was nothing. The best marksmanship was shooting moving targets. Bang! Bang! In the middle of the night, gunshots could be heard occasionally. In the study, Jun Changshao was not in the mood to sleep. He continued to refresh the shop. Now that he had 355 contribution points, he could use them to his heart's content for a while. Ding! Contribution points, 345500. After the refresh, an item called Magically Modified Shoulder Guard appeared in the list of items that were displayed. He clicked on the details. Item, Magically Modified Shoulder Guard. Effect, after wearing it, it can form a defense around the shoulder. It can counteract the recoil of magically modified rifles and sniper rifles to a large extent. Effectiveness, bring it and use it immediately. Price, 20 contribution points. Jun Changshao murmured, counteract recoil? This is good stuff. Without hesitation, he bought it. Ding! Host has spent 20 contribution points. Magically Modified Shoulder Guard X1. It has been transferred to the interspatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 325500. Jun Changshao continued to refresh, but his luck was very bad. He did not get anything good and was forced to spend 10 contribution points to buy an extreme skipping rope. He refreshed again. Ding! Contribution points, 295500. The item that appeared this time was not bad. There was a high-level mortal martial skill called Rupturing Fist. Although its level was low, the Iron Bones sect was in urgent need of martial skills. Therefore, Jun Changshao still spent 10 contribution points to buy it. Ding! Contribution points, 285500. Ding! Detected that host has purchased a fist martial skill from the shop. It is automatically matched with the sect's martial skill. The words Rupturing Fist, high-level mortal martial skill, appeared on the system's data panel. It meant that the disciple could practice it. Jun Changshao made 1,000 copies and murmured, level 10 and above meridian opening can practice it. I'll send it to the disciples tomorrow. The next day. Under the influence of the divine music, the disciples finished their morning exercises happily. Then, each of them received a secret manual of the exploding fist, which made them even happier. Jun Changshao gave the magically modified shoulder pads to Xiao Ziji and gave the extreme jump rope to Su Xiaoma. Thank you, Sect Master. The two said. Xiao Ziji put on the shoulder pads and arrived at the back of the mountain. He held up the Type 88 sniper rifle and pulled the trigger. But he only heard a banged sound. His body only trembled a little, but he did not fall back. So powerful. His eyes widened. As he spoke, he stood up and retracted his kickstand. Then, he raised his gun and said, "It shouldn't be a problem to stand and fight, right?" Boom, he pulled the trigger again, and the moment the bullet flew out, Xiao Zuiji was pushed back a few meters. He then staggered and stabilized his body. He grimaced and said, "It hurts." Without the support of a kickstand, the recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle would definitely be greater. Fortunately, he had the magically modified shoulder pads. Otherwise, if he fired a shot, he would probably end up hanging from the southeast branch. On the training field, Su Xiaoma held the extreme jump rope and said, "Sect Master gave me this. Do you want me to jump rope?" Shwa! As he spoke, he jumped down. Then, his arms began to spin on their own, and his legs began to shake uncontrollably as well. Shwa! 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 His speed increased and light flashed. Damn! The disciples gathered around and said in surprise, "Senior brother Su is jumping so fast." Half an hour later, the frequency of jumping rope decreased and then it stopped. Thump! Su Xiaoma's legs trembled and his whole body collapsed on the ground. His eyes rolled back and white foam came out of his mouth. The extreme jump rope was used to train the strength of the legs. Once the user jumped, it would force the user to jump for an hour. The disciples continued to train as usual. Jun Changshao was also immersed in his training. Occasionally, he would take a qi gathering pill to increase the speed of his spiritual energy absorption. A few days later, his realm went from level 7 to level 8. If he meets a beast like the Earth Fire Wolf King again, he won't even need to use a gun. He can tear it apart with his bare hands. Inside the training room, Jun Changshao focused his spiritual energy on his right arm and used the rupturing fist that he learned. With a bang sound, he hit the testing machine. The strength displayed was 23,000 pounds. Tisk, it actually increased by 3,000 pounds. After breaking through to level 8 martial disciple, without relying on spiritual energy, his physical strength is around 20,000. After using the rupturing fist, it increased by 3,000 pounds. The system said, this is only common rank. If there is a higher rank martial skill, the host's strength will increase even more. Jun Changshao also wants to train a higher rank martial skill, but he needs to rely on his luck to get one. Bang! Suddenly, a gunshot came from the outer courtyard. Jun Changshao hurriedly went out and saw the Type 88 sniper rifle on the newly built watchtower. There was a wisp of smoke coming out of the muzzle. What happened? He said in a low voice. Xiao Ziji stood on the watchtower, pointed at the direction of the gun and said, Sect Master, a black-clothed man tried to sneak in and was shot by this disciple. Jun Changshao hurriedly went out of the sect. Sure enough, a few hundred meters away, he saw a black-clothed man lying on the grass. His chest was pierced and blood flowed out. He couldn't be more dead. This assassin was moving at high speed, but he was killed by Xiao Ziji in one shot. It can be seen that his marksmanship is very accurate. Unfortunately, I didn't trigger a side quest. Jun Changshao shook his head, took the other person's interspatial ring and burned it with the exquisite fire. Drizzle building, you guys are really diligent. With Xiao Ziji on guard, Jun Changshao doesn't need to open the sect protection formation every night. He can save some contribution points. Sect Master. The next day, Li Qingyang came to see him. These few days, 4 more junior brothers have broken through to martial disciple. This disciple has already distributed the self-severing manual to them. How's Xing Chen's cultivation? Jun Changshao asked. As the sect master, he must be concerned about the growth of every disciple. Li Qingyang said, yesterday, I saw junior brother Yi testing in the training room. There were 7 flashes of light on his wrist. He should have broken through to channel opening stage 7. So fast? Jun Changshao was surprised. Calculating the time, Yi Xingchen joined the Iron Bones sect for less than a month, but he has already broken through from channel opening stage 1 to channel opening stage 7. His speed is much faster than the other disciples. Li Qingyang said seriously, Sect Master, junior brother Yi is not simple. Jun Changshao rubbed his nose and smiled. This person's eyes are full of vicissitudes, as if he has experienced many things. That's why I forced him to join the sect. Li Qingyang said, junior brother Yi is a loner and doesn't fit in with the other junior brothers. This disciple is worried that when his cultivation becomes stronger, he will not be content. Jun Changshao interlocked his fingers and smiled, don't worry, even if that guy breaks through to Martial Emperor, I will still be able to subdue him. As the sect master, if he can't deal with a troublesome disciple, how can he be the sect master? He might as well kill himself and scatter flowers. Sect master. At this moment, Su Xiamo ran in, gasping for breath. There's someone outside. They say it's Murong Xin from the Murong family. What? Jun Changshao and Li Qingyang were shocked. A few days ago, they were still talking about her. Who would have thought that she would come today? Is it because of Xiao Ziji? They don't come with good intentions. Jun Changshao frowned.